Check, check. Mic check.
This episode of All Wings Considered is brought to you by Wood. Wood, it's good. Now, here's Ben and Jason.
Hey everybody, welcome to All Wings Considered, the Wing Commander community's only streaming show so far.
Yes! We hope we don't get competition.
Oh, it would be cool. We would have like crossovers with them and...
The 8 o'clock show and the 10 o'clock show? So what are
Yeah.
you guys talking today on midday?
The 10 o'clock show gets a little blue.
Ooh.
Actually,
yes.
today's episode is going to be a little blue, so but before we get to the cargo bay, you're going to want to put your children to bed.
Oh, I did not know we were doing that. Oh, yes, I did. You mean something that was incomplete
No.
We don't know either. You won't know either. Maybe somebody will be able to read it better than we can.
So, hey everybody, welcome to our 5th episode.
Yeah.
Before we get to the news and all the general craziness, I just wanted to thank everybody for all the support you've shown us so far. It's been tremendously fun doing this, and we're having a great time. And it's just a lot of fun. It's cool to share my passion for Wing Commander with everybody. It's great to see the community coming together again. We like look at the numbers. We're like, oh my god,
It's mind-blowing.
People watched the show last
It
night.
is yes. And we were like, who is going to watch us talking for 4 hours? Apparently there are 200 of you in the world, and not our moms.
So thank you for that. And we started a feedback thread on the CIC. If you have any questions you'd like to see answered in the show, any stuff you'd like to see us cover, any feedback for how to make this better, because we are absolutely not professional video people at all. This is all string and wires, and we're kind of learning as we go, which is kind of why we started to do it. But thank you for your support. Give us feedback. We'll make this thing even better.
Continually.
Be even better, but...
Yeah, professionalism.
So
Professionalism, right?
Absolutely.
We are very big professionals, though.
So,
Yes, sir.
as we start this night from rainy Rockville, you can probably pick up the raindrops on the mic because we have a fancy mic and it's loud out.
But it stopped, I think, just as we started, right? It's gone. It's just beautiful. There was a drip right outside the window, and it has gone, which is amazing because we were worried. We were very, very worried, but that's all right.
So you had a very unique experience as you came over to Stately Lesnick Manor today.
That's our lead. You want to lead in with the big story?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, tell us that.
So the big story was I walked in from a rainy drive over, and what do I see on their screen but the 1990s in full, glorious, standard definition, which was they were watching Beverly Hills 90210, a program I have never seen.
Yeah, he saw his first Beverly Hills 90210
I guess,
now.
yeah, I saw an episode from start to finish, didn't I?
He was a Beverly Hills 90210
I had a lot
Donna before this.
I had a lot of questions.
Now he's with Valerie.
No, I had a lot of I get what that means now, kind of. But yeah, I didn't really understand it. Everybody looks the same. I confused characters where I was like, isn't that Luke? No, that's the other guy who's not Luke Perry.
All the guys look the same.
Yep, they all have the same haircut.
All the women look the same.
Yep.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's very confusing. It was an interesting, crazy trip. But yes, that's how this day or this stream this evening has started.
And the strangest thing is that just before you got here, the episode with they were hacking money from a bank, and
you mean the one I saw the climax of with the
shootout
with Kelly Kapowski in the bikini top? Yes, I remember that very vividly now. Yes, of course.
But I guess they needed to reference a current appropriate video game, and somehow the one they pulled out was Rebel Assault.
Huh.
So it must have been like 1995 or...
Okay. Interesting. I figured he would have just gone with Doom or something, but no.
No, Rebel Assault, that was...
Star Wars really big in the mid-90s.
So how you been? How was your week?
It's been...
You weren't here.
It's been fine, you know. I've been... this week was a big number 4. Number 4 was the big one this week, even though our 4th show was last week. What I mean is I've been playing through Halo. I've gotten to Halo 4 lately, and one thing I've discovered is that I can breeze through Halos 1 through 3 on Heroic with hardly even a try because I've played them so many times, but the difficulty in 4 is such that it's a real challenge that I actually have to stop it for days and be like, you know what? This checkpoint can wait, because otherwise this is going to go through my screen.
Is 4 the first one post-Bungie, or is that still...
4 is, yes, the first post-Bungie one, so that's when 343 started doing it, which is a lot of the main Bungie storytellers like Frank O'Connor and them moved over to do 343 with Microsoft, so yep.
The old Origin Digital Anvil story.
Yeah, the Bungie's, that'll be a trip someday we can explore if we get to Marathon and looking at the crazy life Bungie Studios has had.
We can use the jump drive to travel
there. And we'll deal with crazy AIs and other spaceships and other science fiction stuff. But then the other thing I've been doing is playing Heart of Iron 4, which, like a great drug, it has hooked me again. It's a very insanely complicated game that's a World War II simulator that you can pick any country and develop its economy and military. So I'm playing as Japan. I gave it a slight little boost, just a little help, not a whole lot. I also made Mexico really leftist to mess with the United States so they wouldn't bother me. You know, you got to set the stage a little bit.
Yeah, the United States never bothers with leftist countries.
And so, well, this is super leftist. You know, this is apparently it's the social leftists with the Catholic Church. I don't really get it. I didn't really understand it when it said that what was happening in their government, but it's they just got a new DLC in Heart of Iron 4 called Man the Guns, which adds this new naval stuff and really makes it cool. You can kind of design your own capital ships, which of course you can imagine I love doing, and that has suckered me a lot. Like, I was up way too late last night playing that, like way too late.
Now, there's a reason we can't play Marathon today, and it's quite unfortunate, but... So for our show tonight,
I like how you would say that you would want to play it on the original.
That was a segue, which is what professional broadcasters such as myself do.
Big marketees.
Segue.
Yeah. Not just the thing that was supposed to change our lives.
Not just the thing the tourists buy on Venice Beach.
And sometime in DC, I think. Yes.
So we had actually planned to have this spectacular show tonight with an amazing centerpiece, you know. Dancing girls and explosions and most important of all,
flying men.
We were going to have an actual Power Macintosh 7300 to play Super Wing Commander in honor of its first anniversary. And then on the weekend we were going to do a full length, play the entire campaign.
Yes.
Unfortunately, my beloved Power Mac Bertha is no more.
Well,
parts of her are no more. She did not quite survive.
The court would like to present Exhibit A.
Yes, there's what's left of her power button.
Which is the problem. This actually has a very long piece of plastic on it that is still inside Bertha right now.
Yes. So a replacement is in order, and we will be doing Super Wing Commander in whenever that gets here, and because that's going to be really exciting because nobody played Super Wing Commander. I mean, nobody.
I tried to.
We're crazy people, but
yes,
everybody out there is going to want to see this weird version of Wing Commander 1 with eye patches.
Yeah, and weird
space condoms, and it's space condoms,
and your suit being pressed onto you. Yeah, Mike asked what the picture was over your shoulder.
Oh,
because it's very prominent in the frame.
Oh, nice! It's the drawing of Prince Straka that Allie made me for Christmas.
Yes. But yeah, but do you have an appropriate sound?
Oh, yes, I do.
Because you know what happens. And those are the infamous chimes of death.
Sad Mac.
The Sad Mac. Yes, any of the Macintosh owners. That's not the actual Sad Mac logo. That's OS 9. Yeah.
That's later. But
soon.
So Bertha is in the shop, and we will be bringing her back to life and playing Super Wing Commander future episode. Today we're going to do Special Operations 1. You know, we're at the very last system. I'm pretty confident we can at least beat the first 3 missions.
Yep.
And then the 4th one is the single hardest mission in Wing Commander, so you can watch us get incredibly frustrated. All the fun of going and watching your dad get drunk.
Yeah, there's a line in our show sheet limiting to how many tries because it's one that I got to do it again. Thing is, you're not going to beat it. You're not going to. It's one of those you either get it or you don't.
Oh, Jackie Baker in the chat mentioned the shaved lines in their hair because in Super Wing Commander they have this.
They're the weird.
It's like in lore. They added it to claw marks. It's memory of lost pilots. And, so the fact that Angel has one means that she must have learned her lesson from the Wing Commander movie. But I mean, we should do that. We can shave lines in our head. Well, I can.
No. Yeah. No. Yeah, I clearly lost a lot of friends in the war. I see what you're going. That also strikes as like a very 90s. A lot of us had that haircut.
You probably saw it on 90210.
Yeah, that's probably. I'm surprised. Oh no, that would have been the very end. I think of shaving stuff in your head, right?
But burying the lead, Super Wing Commander turns 25 years old this weekend on the 23rd. This is the 3DO release. The Mac release was a year later, but we're going to play it on a computer instead of a 3DO.
Yes.
Because we got a Thrustmaster and all that.
Yeah, we have. You have my Thrustmaster,
your Thrustmaster,
which I will never forget. What was it? Actually, it was probably a year ago about now, where Ben was still collecting all of his Thrustmasters, and I was like, I wonder what happened to my Mac Thrustmaster sticks, and I'm like.
You gave it to me.
Yeah,
I
literally mailed them to him years ago, and I'd completely forgotten where they ended up, yet he already had them. So we're going to use the sticks I used to play a lot of old Mac games on, and I played a very little bit of Super Wing Commander on, because it can be kind of a pain at times.
Additionally, this weekend is the... I just lost that.
Yeah, I don't know what that was either.
I'm too fast for the camera.
Apparently. I saw that too. That was weird.
Additionally, this weekend, Sunday, the 24th, whatever day the 24th is the 25th anniversary of Wing Commander 1 for the Sega CD, which is a hell of a port of Wing Commander 1. It has all the awkwardness of a console port, but it also has full speech with actual voice actors. And we will revisit that one at some point, too.
But that takes our job away.
Yes, that will make... Well, Super Wing Commander has voice actors, too.
Yeah,
Amazing thing is they re-recorded the Wing Commander 1 voiceovers twice for Super Wing, for Wing... for twice for a game that was released in the same weekend.
Okay.
And then never Wing Commander 2.
Huh.
So...
That's a weird choice of things.
Odd.
Yeah, that's not the... Okay. Interesting. Different.
No love for Wing Commander 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, you already skipped a story too.
Oh, I skipped a story.
Yes, because we got so overwhelmed. So beyond
watching, we're having a natural conversation.
That's right.
I made notes for stuff we've done just because I can never remember in the moment.
That's right. But no, along with watching one episode of 90210, they have been showing me *Halt to Catch Fire*, which I had not previously seen.
Oh yeah. *Halt to Catch Fire*. We were watching it on Tuesdays, and it's really good. It's basically
I've enjoyed it quite a bit.
AMC did Mad Men for 7 years, and they moved on to other creative things, and they were trying to recapture it. I think there was like a show about like pilots in the 60s and whatever, and they hit on PC development in the 80s, and so it's Mad Men but in the 80s with computers, and it's close enough in memory that we remember it rather than romanticize it. It's really entertaining.
I think the favorite part is, hey, Matt, what year did your dad have that haircut?
Yes.
Or that beard style, or that, and it's like my dad went through all those phases because he is a software engineer, so it's like,
my dad worked for IBM.
Yes,
so
yes,
it's very close to home.
My dad was an Apple developer, so oh my god, we're evil.
Oh yeah, my dad would have hated your dad.
Yeah, it's so weird. Unless they were ham radio
now we found
friends.
friendship.
Oh, there you go. We bridged the divide.
No, my first computer that we had when I was growing up was an Apple II, and then my dad got a job for IBM, and that went in the closet.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get a PC until the mid-90s. We were a Mac house until then. It's weird that now I think he has like a mini Mac running something. I don't even know what he does. But yeah, that's been a really enjoyable thing as well. Mm-hmm. That's been a very interesting program to watch and dissect.
Before we jump over to Afterburner slideshow, I do want to point out something we just took from chat, and it scrolled away so I can't see who it was, but I wanted to thank you for pointing out that GOG has the entire Wing Commander series PC releases on sale this weekend.
Oh!
Or right now for their spring sale. It's $2 a game, and sometimes when you buy more than one, there's a bigger discount, so $2 for... I think you get Wing Commander 1 and 2 for $2.
You could basically get the entire series for less than a 6-pack of beer.
Now, I have to assume that if you're watching two giant nerds talking about Wing Commander on a Thursday evening...
You probably already own it.
You probably... Because you're not here for the production values.
And if you don't, you should.
If for some reason you don't, please, Wing Commander. Buy Wing Commander.
Not our... Well, I guess they're always our sponsor.
Well, there's only one thing better than Wing Commander in my mind, and that's...
Oh, you mean...
That's wood.
Wood?
I love wood.
There's no real good way to get around it. Wood. What's it good for? Building stuff. I made this.
Or just having wood. What is that, by the way?
This is a half hull.
This is like elementary school show and tell. What is a half hull?
This is how they would build ships back in the day.
Before they knew how to make the whole boat.
Yes, the oldest half hull joke in the world. No, but this is built to scale. This is some boat called the Haiti. I have no idea what it is, where it was, what it did. I just know it was the biggest one I could make in high school, and I said, I want to make the biggest one. Those other two look like rowboats because they were dinghies.
Is that what you do in like New England? When you
Yes,
like a boat building part of school?
Yankee Clippers. Yes, we all get Yankee Clipper class. But the whole idea is that you build this to scale, and you take measurements off of this to build the actual ship.
Okay.
So this is how this is your blueprint right here. It was this was fun to make, but a gigantic pain in the ass.
My blueprint.
So much sanding.
Commander 1 boxes.
Yeah, there you go. But you're I almost just said you're Wood, and then I'm going to stop myself. Anyways, Wood is our most difficult sponsor yet. Till we have to sponsor anti-drug ads.
So let's look at some media from.
Let's move on from that.
Just random Wing Commander stuff we've been thinking about this week.
What have you brewed up?
I will say this has been a slower week for me, Wing Commander wise. Allie and I did we built a bunch of Legos. We did the Flintstones house and the Tron light cycles, and we finally watched Spider-Verse, and it's just been a good family week. So not as much Wing Commander stuff this week, but there's still some Wing Commander stuff.
It would be weird if there wasn't.
And here's the Afterburner slideshow!
This should have a theme song, actually.
Yeah, and I need to get someone who knows how to make things that are good do the logo.
Okay.
Because that's just some font I added a gradient to.
Fancy.
So, first of all... yeah, just very fancy.
Yeah, very fancy.
This is something I saw on Instagram earlier, and I wanted to share it with everybody because that was really cool. But it is a 3D printed bear cat, which I thought was pretty neat. And I love when you find some random person who is creating Wing Commander stuff.
Yeah.
Now I realize I don't have the credit for this bear cat.
Oh, well, it was on Instagram.
It wasn't. If you search for Wing Commander... Oh, it is Chad Fops. Chad Fops is the creator of this bear cat. And I guess he usually does Star Wars and Star Wars stuff. And apparently airplanes looking at the background. But he made a pretty cool bear cat. And I thought I'd share it with this group because the 15 people watching us talk about Wing Commander
should know this.
Yes.
Well, here's a question for you. We have a question from the crowd asking if there's a way to play Super Wing Commander on a modern PC. And my guess would be an emulator.
Emulator is the answer. I
don't know how it's
3DO version emulates pretty well right now. 3DO emulation has pretty much reached the point where it will pretty good.
Yeah.
The Macintosh version is a little odd. I've heard of people who have success using Sheep Saver,
not Shaver,
which
Saver.
is a Power Mac emulator.
Yep.
The problem with emulating a Mac is that it was a different type of processor. It was pre-Intel. It was
that was a 604.
Yeah.
Or it was a 600 series, so it'd be like 601 or no, 601, 603, 604 and 604E.
Yeah. And the improvement of the Mac version is just the controls. They're much better than learning all the key combos for a console. Although the console one does support the 3DO joystick, or the CH Products 3DO stick. Yeah. But yeah, if you absolutely want to do it today, 3DO emulator is probably the best way to do it. But actually buying a Macintosh and playing it is incredibly cheap.
Probably less. It's less hassle for you
to some degree, because every single middle school in the country had rooms full of these things.
Performas and lower the mid-range Power Macs.
Yeah, they were insanely expensive at the time.
Yes.
I couldn't afford one. I remember this kid in my school got Super Wing Commander, and I'm pretty sure he got it just to lord it over me. But I was so bleeping jealous. But now they're among the cheapest retro PCs you can buy because no one really wants them. They don't, you can't do anything else with them.
Yeah, what are you going to do on your Performa 7300 besides play Super Wing Commander and marathon off the original CDs?
And in fact, when I went to eBay to look for replacement parts for this Mac, the power button was $35. The replacement power button. A functional same PC again was $45.
So I'm sensing something here, huh?
So it's very affordable if you have desk space, but a 3DO emulator would totally do it.
Yep. All right, so what's next on the afterburner?
This is something I found on Yahoo Japan, which is a Japanese auction site. Japan is like this alternate dimension where instead of eBay, they got Yahoo as the auction site.
I believe it's actually a country on their side of the Pacific, but that's okay. That's okay.
But anyway, check this out.
Hey-o!
This is a print magazine ad for Wing Commander 3 when they pushed it in 1995 in Japan. And they did this kind of cut-up version of the Wing Commander 3 key art, the Sam Yates painting, and they added Excaliburs, and it's supposed to appeal to the audience there more than here. And I just thought it was a cool
What
ad.
is the background? It's like a planet, but there's a pattern, that's like a bug.
It's because for the ad, they have this one shot of the Excalibur flying away from the planet, and they mirrored it for the background of the ad, so it looks like it's a weird fractal or something.
Yeah, that's okay.
But yeah, sometimes you watch eBay and there's always like some guy who cuts up like old magazines and they're like, I'm selling posters. And, no, you cut up a computer gaming world. And they apparently have those in Japan too. So somebody has cut this up and put it up for sale, and it's out there if you want to buy it.
Interesting. Homeworld is also for sale. We're seeing on Goog. Homeworld is a good game to get because you can also play the Wing Commander mod, Flag Commander.
Wait. Did you just call it Goog?
I say Goog.
You say Goog.
Goog, yeah, Goog.
Audience, did you say Goog just then?
Hey, I also say, what was the Warpecker or whatever last time? Or Woodlogger? Who knows? So, hey, it happens. G-O-G, Goog. Goog is probably more appropriate. I like my way of pronouncing things, right, Ad?
I approve of it.
Good. But yes, it also has a... Anyways, that was all about the Flag Commander, though, which... That also... So you can Wing Commander your Homeworld.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Obviously everyone in the world knows this already, but there's a lot of awesome stuff on GOG.
Yes. And if you don't own all of it, well.
So here's a third thing from the internet. These I saw on DeviantArt.
I love third thing from the internet.
These are from Zen Oasis on DeviantArt, and they are file folders for the Wing Commander 2 and the movie. I just thought they were sharp and cool, and you folder icons for your computer. So anybody needs a folder icon for the Wing Commander movie or for Wing Commander 2, this guy has made them.
Wow, that's what you should use on your Mac. That was a very Mac thing
you can put
to
them
do.
on the Mac.
Yeah, the Macs were that's like the big thing, having your different icons and stuff like that for your hard disk and your folders. I had some of those.
Oh, Starscream's Tachyon is first on sale. That's a cool space game. That's a really forgotten one, late 90s. it has really elaborately designed missions. And Bruce Campbell as the voice of the hero character.
Yep.
Which is a good segue, which I was not thinking about because we're about to talk about the voices of hero characters.
Oh, are we?
Yes.
Oh.
That is totally worthwhile. Free Space. And Chris Van Haren, who, by the way, that's the guy who told us it was on sale. So thank you. Credit where credit is due.
There you go.
So Freelancer and GOG, unfortunately, Freelancer is owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft is their own thing. So they,
sure,
would be nice.
It would be. All right, now this is something cool that a lot of us have played Privateer, and you know. I'm not sure how many people played without speech. I know I grew up with the CD speech, but you have made up a comparison that when I first heard it, it was like you say, one is a bit better than the other, but my brain would not allow me to agree with you just because I grew up with the other sound.
So we're talking about the Privateer.
Yeah.
Privateer was originally released on 6 3.5-inch discs with a separate speech pack and then a separate add-on Righteous Fire. And then very quickly after that, Aaron Roberts put out a Privateer. He was head producer for Privateer CD-ROM, which is a fantastic CD-ROM conversion. Origin did a couple of really excellent disc to CD talkies at the time. They also did some terrible ones. But
As we've seen.
Privateer and Strike Commander are both fantastic conversions with full speech, and they have the whole package together, and it runs nicely. But Trelane, who's in our chat right now, our producer, he was saying one of the problems he had with Privateer was that when you go to the
ship dealers,
they don't tell you how much your ship is worth, how much you're getting back.
Yeah, you need those calculations.
And I said, well, actually, that was in the disc version of Privateer. One of the the move to multimedia, you want to have speech for everything, so they had to recut the script. So in Privateer at the start, you enter your name, and in the original version, it's all text. So you're like, oh, Captain Ben, and so on. And they could not do that on the speech version. It's certainly not with the time and budget allowed.
Yeah.
As we will see if and when we do Super Wing Commander, there are ways to have numbers, but they're not clean. If you watch they keep the script in Super Wing Commander. They only edit it to remove the name. They give you a name instead. So you'll get to the briefings like, all right, Maverick, you killed 4 Kilrathi ships, and Spirit, you killed 2 Kilrathi ships.
I guess they didn't learn how the phone company does it, right? There's some weird way how they do those numbers where it's I think they have to you say 999. So because you make the sound differently where the number ends, and they have to do that bazillion times. I think that's a little bit beyond Origin's budget at that period though to chop up 20 million numbers.
So for Privateer for the speech stuff, they just cut some features a little bit. And
ouch.
First, I've got a comparison here of buying a Galaxy. I've recorded it first on the disc version and then the CD version. And we also discovered that if you go into the CD version and disable speech entirely, you will get this.
It still
You'll
pops
get
back
the
up.
text version. But let me play this and just enjoy Privateer. That's right. We can actually talk over this because
There's no sound for this one.
Sound.
Sorry about the Galaxy flagship. Good choice. She's not as flashy as some ships, but she sure is practical. You get a room and cockpit, loads of cargo space. I'm trying to do his voice, like he does it. And you add top and bottom turrets if you need more firepower.
But you can't hire anyone to run them.
That's right, so they're kind of a waste of your money. Did I mention she's a fast ship as merchant vessels go? No? Listen.
Oh, there's a good line in here that's coming up. There's a really good...
If you can't afford a Drahman, and who the hell can these days?
Is it Drahman?
How would you use Drayman?
I said Drayman.
You'll find the Galaxy fills all your shipping needs, and it's a steal at only 150,000 credits.
Now here's where it's different.
I just have soft lines. We can give you 200,000 credits for your old ship, plus 209,950 credits for your add-on tools. Damn, you must have a Centurion. You'll have 451 credits left in the bank to load out your new ship. Yeah, that would suck to try to do with a voice.
Yeah, with kills, at least you got a maximum of 12.
So how about flying a Galaxy home today?
course I said yes.
Oh, well, thank you. Great. Your payment will be deducted automatically.
It's also much longer when it's not when it doesn't have the speech.
And you'll find the ship waiting for you on the pad. I'm glad I'm getting pronunciation lessons from the crowd. Sometimes you just let this stuff roll. You know, it's not like right before the show, I'm the one who takes the alcohol for the team. I do.
Checking out the Galaxy class.
Oh, I missed my part. What am I reading now?
Good choice.
Oh, that's the voice.
She's
Oh,
not
I
as
saw it over
flashy
here.
as
And
some
I
ships,
got
but
freaked
she
out for a second.
sure
This
is
talking
practical. You get a
Hopefully
roomy
they can hear
cockpit,
it. I'm assuming the volume's
loads of
okay.
cargo space, and you can add top and bottom turrets if you feel you need more firepower. Did I mention she's a fast ship as merchant vessels go? No? Listen, if you can't afford a drayman, and who the hell can these days, you'll find the Galaxy fills your shipping needs. And it's a steal at only $150,000. We can give you credit for your old ship, along with your add-on modules. What's left is in your account. So, how about
Is it
flying
possible
a
to activate
Galaxy home today?
subtitles?
It is possible to activate subtitles, but you have to
Great.
disable.
Your payment will
actually,
be
you have to
deducted
disable sound effects
automatically.
entirely.
And you'll find the ship
But if you,
waiting
if
on the
you hit
pad.
Alt O in Privateer,
Thanks for your business
and you disable
good
sound
shipping.
effects, then you will get subtitles and you'll get the original dialogue.
Interesting.
So, we talked about that for a little, and that's it.
Don't forget to turn it off.
Oh yeah, because it's gonna come back.
That's right. Yeah, I gotta.
Yes.
I'm trying to look at me. Look at me being
Yeah,
a
you're
second
learning.
host. Yeah.
So there is something that did change a bit between the
Yes.
original and the CD. So everyone has seen the CD intro, and I'm going to play it right now because who doesn't want to watch the Privateer intro?
With those great sound effects and the music.
The great dialogue. When I was working in Austin, the people would quote this constantly. Still, it's fun hearing Rob and everybody. The pirate lines in this are just so ridiculous and weird, and they stick in your head.
That's true. And the unknown. Just say asteroids. Lots and lots of asteroids. I love look how that kind of blended in with the background of the stars too.
Yeah, pretty classy.
Look at that! You can't even tell where one begins and one ends.
What is it, huh? Is it a smuggler far off the normal space lanes? Maybe a bad smuggler with some nice contraband.
We'd be making fun
Sorry,
of the dialogue
boys.
right there.
I'm just a tourist with a frag nav console.
This is where we should be.
Could you tell me
making
where I
some
am?
snarky
Deep in
remarks, but
trouble, little tourist.
trying to
Prepare to be
reverse
boarded.
levels.
Not a
Don't
chance,
tell us what we're
pal.
trying to say,
Prepare to
so
go to
we're
hell.
fast. Look at Tarsus. Look at around. I don't think a Tarsus is a turn.
No, it's more of a half-hour turnaround.
Yeah. Look at that.
It's such a cool intro. I wish
Yeah, that's there you go. There's the privateer missions for you right there. All those asteroids.
that's what I'm proving right.
That's definitely that's one of the big old proving grounds, definitely. Oh, he's pretty hot.
Yeah, this is maybe making Privateer look a little bit more fun than it is.
Oh, come on. But yeah, this is
Who
one of
are
those
you
things
that
that
flies
suckers
so
you
good? Are you insane?
And it's
No,
like,
it's just got a load of cargo in the hold
and
and
you're
a load
like,
of bills to pay at home.
you're,
And I the same. You shouldn't kill me just for attacking you.
I
it's like
don't
in,
mind that you tried to kill me, but protecting myself against your type gets expensive, and I'm on a budget.
Why can't they do that? I remember
Disk space and
and I-
animation.
yeah, my dad tried to explain it to me, and I'm like, those don't make any sense, and I think.
Odd thing about the Privateer intro is what exactly happened there. So Brown Hair activated the drone with his accidental missile, but it doesn't really do anything until he also happens to find the Steltec artifact that it locks onto and chases him.
Yeah, it just kind of I guess it gets awakened to its defense features.
Yeah, I feel like he's responsible. I think they must have changed the script at some point to introduce the artifact after. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when Privateer, what's that?
I'm gonna tell you turn it off.
Oh,
I don't want to tell you turn it off again. We'll have to come up with a symbol
okay.
to make sure. Double checking. Trying to watch the balls.
So when Privateer first shipped,
Watch on the ball. Watch the ball. The ball. One.
One ball. Oh yeah, no,
It's not a bad. It's not a bad. It's not a bad. It's not a bad. Anyways.
So when Privateer first
Yes.
shipped, it came with they sold us with a speech pack separately, and much like Wing Commander 2, they wanted to kind of honeypot you in by giving you speech in the intro.
Yeah.
So it had recorded speech for the intro, like you just saw, but not quite like you just saw, because Privateer speech pack. At that time, the only time they ever needed to voice Brown Hair was that intro where you see him talking to the pirates. So they had somebody local do his voice, And then the next year, when they wanted to do the CD-ROM version, that person was no longer available, but they needed to do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lines for him.
Yes.
So
they did.
They redid the intro with a different voice actor. And I have done a little comparison here, so you can see. It's going to play for each of his lines. First, the no speech, the disc speech, and then the CD speech. And this is great because all of his lines in the intro are, I'm on a budget. I don't mind that you tried to come. Here you go.
Sorry, Boris. I'm just a tourist with a frag nav console.
Could you tell me where
Sorry,
I am?
boys, I'm just a tourist with a frag nav console. Could you tell me where I am?
Sorry, boys. I'm just a tourist with a frag nav console. Could you tell me where I am?
Not a chance, pal. Prepare to go
Not
to
a chance,
hell.
pal. Prepare to go to hell.
Jeez, at
Not
least
a
he was
chance,
nice telling
pal.
him to prepare
To
for
go
where
to
he's going,
hell.
as opposed to just sending him there.
No, it's just got a load of cargo in the hold and a load of bills to pay at home.
No, it's just got a load of cargo in the hold and a load of bills to pay at home.
That's right. That's true. It does get expensive.
I don't mind that you tried to kill me, but protecting myself
that's a line.
against your type gets expensive, and I'm on a budget.
I don't mind that you tried to kill me, but protecting myself against your type gets expensive, and I'm on a budget.
So there you go. You can see they changed voice actors, and I prefer the disc version. He's less whiny. It's more of that Strike Commander vibe.
Yeah, see, it just sounds wrong because you're just so used to hearing the CD voice that no matter what, it's hard to pull you away from it because that's Grayson Burroughs.
I grew up with the disc version, so I was used to. I played the disc version first. I had the installed that speech pack a million times, so I was used to that first version. And I've had it in my head that they were different for years, and I found out that a lot of people don't know that. So, do you want to watch the disc intro, the entire intro, or?
You asked that like that's actually a question. I believe the answer is yes. He sounds very close to the final voice actor, but
It's similar, but it's the second one is more it's nasally.
Yeah, I don't know how you describe the difference of the voice, but yeah, it's got like the final guy is maybe a few rungs higher, maybe like one or two in terms of sound.
And what is it, huh? Is it a smuggler far off the normal space lane?
All the lines
Maybe
are
a
right.
bad smuggler with some nice contraband.
Sorry, boys, I'm just a tourist with a frag nav console. Could you tell me where I am?
Deep in trouble, little tourist. Prepare to be boarded.
Not a chance, pal.
I think
Prepare
you
to go to hell.
Some concerns. It does look great.
Oh, that's right. Remind me to show you guys Metal Morph next week. That's an Origin game that was made for the SNES. No one's ever heard of it, but it cribs the privateer graphics for its own sequence.
Okay.
Because the way Origin continued to reliably make money was that they would have stuff like SNES ports and cheap games. And, you're not going to sell 500,000 copies of Metal Morph, but you're going to reliably sell 15,000.
Who are you
And
that flies so
keeps you
good?
in the
Are you
black
insane?
until-
No,
Yeah,
it's
you're
just
no,
got a
it's
load
not
of
a
cargo in the
super
hold and a
game.
load of bills to pay at home.
So,
Till your
And
next
I the
treat your
same.
killer
You
app.
couldn't kill me just for attacking
So,
you.
I don't
Metal Morph
mind that
was
you tried to
made
kill
out of
me,
chunks of
but
privateer
protecting myself
and
against your type
side
gets
scroller,
expensive, and I'm on a
Play it
budget.
next time. Producer, please add that to the list for next time.
Producers.
Okay.
Oh, still tech. A race we argued about for quite a long time, and then we
Ultimately
argued.
just stopped caring.
Yep. Steltech, Man 2, Double Helix for a little bit more, but right, the Man 2 are the ones that when we get to
Yeah, that'll be
yes, that costs a
Somebody
lot of
submit a
buff.
question to Gar Car talk about the Mantu because we are primed up and
Yeah,
ready
we're-
for some Mantu talk.
If only there was if we could go back in time and get ourselves from 25 years ago when we were all amped up and crazy about the Man 2 and the Omegas.
Oh, our producer says he could not hear us over the audio. We were just saying next
Oops.
time remind us to play Metal Morph. We'll show.
Yeah, Metal
Metal
Morph.
Morph.
Metal Morph.
So let's jump over to the news, the WC news.
I just made sure not to make the news sound because we have our own now.
Oh yeah, you should have played the Privateer news sound.
It always does.
Good. First up, Grim Reaper has updated his Prophecy Unlimited tech kit, fixing a number of bugs, swapping around some features. This is the tech that's the core of things like Defiance Industries' model upgrade project, and it will be incorporated there and in the near future.
Yep.
You can also go ahead and drop in the DLL in your Enhanced Prophecy if you'd like to play it yourself right now. But it's always it's amazing what people have done with Prophecy.
It really is, yeah.
It looks like a modern game in...
It's truly amazing, and in the 20 or so years that it's been out, how much everybody out there has been able to take it, spin it, and make it, and do things you never thought possible. From what the guys are doing now with the new upgrades to, the mods with standoff and everything else in between. It's truly incredible what they've been able to squeeze out of that engine. And it's so much fun.
It just keeps looking better.
Yeah, it always looks amazing. Like that little screenshot, you can
That's
just see
incredible.
It's so clean and nice. Yeah. Prophecy's a great game. It's one of those games we'll certainly give its. Those are really fun missions to redo. Some of the secret op ones are.
And speaking of the 3DO, the folks at YouTube channel 8/16/32-bit have a new review of Wing Commander 3 for the 3DO, which is pretty interesting. If you've never played Wing Commander 3 for the 3DO, it is almost a totally different game from regular Wing Commander 3. All the missions are redesigned. Mm-hmm. The game flow is remade to focus on, to be fun for the console, and it's just a super interesting port. It's definitely one we'll play in the future. And they've got a 7-minute review, and it's really classily done. And surprisingly classily done also is a review from SNES Drunk of the original Wing Commander, which I would also encourage checking out. Wing Commander for the SNES.
Wait, the Drunk or the Wing Commander?
The review. I'd encourage checking out the review.
Gotcha. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. Again, very professionally done review, and good take, which is that Wing Commander 1 for the SNES is not especially fun today, but it is very, very interesting. And that is true, because it is a absolute... I keep saying things are absolutely fascinating, but I find them absolutely fascinating.
Absolutely fascinating. That's your... Apparently, it's your
it's one
mark.
of my ticks. You shock me with like an Electrovolt every time I do that.
Absolutely fascinating.
So it's insane that they take Wing Commander 1, which shipped on 3.5, or it actually did not ship on 3.5, it's just shipped on 3 5.25-inch discs, or 6 3.5-inch discs, and they put it onto an SNES cartridge, which is like 8 megabits or something, and that they get as much in there as they do is astounding. Given the limitation of the...
Which, that's one of those things, too, where I feel like today we're now limitless, bandwidth, data storage, that you lose some of the time that crafty ingenuity that they used to have to do back in the 90s and in the late 80s of, well, how do I get this on the game and onto the disc? Is there a way we can fudge this and trick it, using it somewhere else, doing other type of weird programming tricks? And I feel like we kind of lose a lot of that today because it's... you have access to everything, and it's essentially limitless.
Yeah, my opinion would certainly be that the limitations improve the final game. When you look at something like the original plan for Wing Commander 2, which I happened to be looking at the other day, I was looking at the very, very early script. It was written in October 1990, so literally 20 days after Wing Commander 1 shipped. And it's broad and giant, and it has 1 million characters and 10,000 things to follow, and there's all these crazy features, like there's a hard copy style TV show or a Jerry Springer that you check into between missions to get the updates on the war, and then
that's such a 90s. That's such a 90s.
So 90s.
So 90s.
And the climax, right after Jazz is found out and all that, they have Tallwan on to interview him, and he punches the Jerry Springer character.
Oh my god!
It's just 1 million miles wide and not as deep, and just the fact that they have to figure out, okay, how do we get this onto 7 diskettes?
Yeah,
just it makes it better, or at least makes it interesting.
I agree. I think that's a big thing. I think it really does make them better, because you're forced to choose. And you have to make tough decisions, and sometimes those decisions lead to really great outcomes. Think how many times Like when we explore a lot of these things with, looking behind the scenes of the games, what's cut and what isn't. And a lot of times it's like, that's really cool, but in the end, is it really worth adding an extra disc to this box?
Mm-hmm. And people
not.
don't understand how expensive a diskette was. Just it was astoundingly difficult to diskette. Cutting a diskette from a game like that would save so much money and just make the project so much more profitable. And we'll look at more of that in the future. We've got all sorts of stuff that was cut from Wing Commander 2 that we want to show off. The Kilrathi transport. There was a second Kilrathi transport.
Yeah, it's like all the great things that you. But oftentimes, what happens, right? That stuff gets cut, but then it shows up in other ways because they still want to show it off, and it adds flavor in other places. Thrak's flagship doesn't show up that much, but then you see it that one time, and you're like, "That's his flagship," and you never forget it.
And it was actually cut from the game proper too. The original design for Wing Commander 2 had you fighting Thrak's flagship in the last mission. In fact, that's why your Saber has 6 torpedoes instead of 2 for that last mission. Because you were originally going to have to battle both the space station and the Hydra.
That's just mean.
And one thing we have up at the CIC is the specs printout for all the ships, which has the cut Kilrathi Corvette. It has the cut Dreadnought. So if we ever want to know the specs for the Hydra, guys, that's one thing we can show. Why don't we show some cut Wing Commander 2 stuff next week? Producer, I'll remember.
No, you won't. No, you won't. Yes, that is an interesting thing. That would be, that almost feel like if you put 2 Frolotha in a mission and put you in a crappier bomber with no afterburner. Well, who would do that, though? That would be an idiot mission designer that would ever do something that stupid, huh? The world will see.
So,
hey, what's next?
Special Operations 1. As you've seen, we've been slowly traveling through Special Operations 1 these last 5 weeks. 4 weeks.
5 weeks. Wow, 5
months.
weeks.
This last month. And we are up to Gorakar 2, which is the final Gorakar series. And this is hard. We're at Gorakar 2A, which is not so hard.
No.
But Gorakar 2D, which is where we're hoping to get today, and then we will bang our head into it for a little bit, is the hardest mission in Wing Commander. And
yes.
It's not the hardest mission because of design. It's just
hard.
It's just hard.
It's just hard.
It's random chance thing.
Yeah.
Because you have to attack 2 Kilrathi cruisers at once. Your wingmen like to shoot through you.
Yep.
The Bear and everybody show up to save the day, and they like to shoot through you.
Yep.
It is incredibly frustrating, and
it usually, if you ask me, how do I beat this? Everybody has their own silly gimmick that
it never.
I know it's it worked once because that's how this mission is. It's one of those kind of you got to BS your way through it until you make it.
Yeah, everybody talks about K2. It sounds sexier for sure. But
yeah, I love that mountain. It doesn't get enough attention compared to Mount Everest. You're right. It's the most technically challenging mountain to climb in the world.
At least Kurosawa 2, there are challenges that you can, there are ways you can beat it.
Yeah.
You have to be really good. This one, it's not
a
matter of being really good. Yeah, Kurosawa 2 is a matter of figuring out how to take out the Kilrathi attacking the ship quickly enough, how to distract them.
Yep.
Pushing your limits. You can ram one and survive, and it's a process, but it's totally rewarding once you do it. This one, not so much.
No, there's no complete A to get to B to get to C, or it's just fingers crossed.
So what you're going to see tonight is we're going to get there, and we're probably going to lose a bunch, and then that'll be a future show where we just keep trying. So.
Yeah, they'll have to be. One day we'll have to do that. The hard. We'll just do the hardest missions of Wing Commander and go down. The list.
That sounds so much fun.
That can be a special segment one day.
Are you Blair today, or am I Blair?
I'm Blair.
You're Blair. Okay.
Right. Oh yeah, because I got stuck with Major Edmonds. Yeah. I got stuck with Major Edmonds last time.
I'm the Blair now.
No, you gotta have a little attitude. Remember?
Yeah. You need that sass.
Yeah. All right. And scene.
Storyline. Flight deck, Olympus Station, Gorakar system.
Looks like you're in talking.
I programmed the newest technical data into your nav computer, sir. The long-range patrols have reported sighting a very small strike fleet. approaching directly down the corridor established by the decoy comm pod. Last time in All Things Considered.
That's right, the dead drop we did.
I'm supervising communications teams for Olympus Station. We're already intercepting and decoding their tactical communications.
She could actually play a 90210. She looks the bit.
Is blonde woman.
I'm surprised. I thought the Kilrathi would commit more forces. Are you sure the communications data is correct, Major?
This is way too Colonel Sanders.
I'm making him way low. He's from Alabama this time.
I'm doing the best I can with the available resources, sir.
I see. Continue with your work, Major.
Thank you, sir. I see.
I am a colonel, so I am a Kentucky colonel.
Oh, I should do my,
Colonel PC name, report to the flight deck for immediate launch! Yeah, you should probably have, I don't know, your flight setup, your cockpit, right? Well, the joystick. No, I know, I didn't, I was hiding over there for a second. Yeah, he is what he, my Blair, he is what he is. He's just a simple... Assault Wing, this is Colonel PC name. Do you read?
Bug that one. Put that in Jira. That's a bug. Wrong name, wrong color for Blair.
Yeah, I know. That's what threw me off. And I realized it said this is Colonel PC name. Lieutenant
Landis checking in, sir.
Oh, see?
All systems green.
That just threw me off, too. Affirmative, Lieutenant. Colonel Raga?
Ready to auto-dive on your mark, call sign.
Good. Let's go nail that strike fleet. I'm trying to get a little Boz in there, too, Making very... I want to do, like, half Boz... Like, Texas and Alabama. Alright, so now... Loaf is flying the famous crossbow bomber with its heavy weapons.
YA-18A, man.
Yep. This is a youth adult, 18 and under, flyable ship.
Say, what does the Y in a aircraft designation mean?
Usually it designates a prototype, so you have like X would be experimental, and then Y, your test aircraft. So if you remember, right, because in Strike Commander it's the YF-22, right? So it means it's a prototype.
Production.
Yeah. So you have the YF-22, and then whenever you see that,
Kilrathi ships ahead.
Signifying that it's entered its first phases of serious testing. Oh, hello. Got that was a good one. You had lasers coming everywhere, and then just an exploding Kilrathi, which everybody loves. Oh.
Now this mission is actually pretty easy, and then I die.
Yeah, right. And then you get rammed.
While there is a Kilrathi strike fleet, I don't actually have to destroy it. It almost always jumps out.
Look at that. See, there's also something so just like satisfying, right? When you're in the crossbow and the broadsword, and you can get a full salvo, and it just melts, right? Look at it. He just got 3 fighters, full salvo, done. It's so rewarding in that. I love that. And there's a lot of other things about the crossbow though I don't enjoy, but yeah, like you have a bit of a problem in that your front shields are foobar, or they're charging insanely slow. Because I don't know what you hit.
I don't think I hit anything. It was just
Capital ship destroyed.
Jeez.
She got one.
Yeah, I'd say that was fast.
Nice job, Landis.
That was really fast.
Oh,
there it goes. Look at
nice.
that! Oh, wow, that was almost like a professional cut.
Yeah, we did an awesome job there.
Wow.
We are brave, amazing, wonder
Capital
people.
ship destroyed.
Yes, whatever those are.
Those were Frolthra.
That was a good... No, I meant whatever you just called us.
Professional.
Yeah, exactly. Who even knows? It's just so... Yeah.
That was exciting.
That was great.
I thought they were going to jump out.
I was... Yeah, I was impressed just to see the torpedo just give us that perfect shot of them detonating. That was great.
Kilrathi ships ahead.
Oh, and here's one of the weird things about this mission. Look at this idiot.
Oh, hello.
A single Drakri.
You cannot defeat... Oh, damn.
Yeah, I did it.
That was a speed bump. Just a speed bump. Olympus Station.
You are cleared to land.
You are cleared to land. Oh, by the way, are you guys getting sound from Commander 2?
Yeah, how's the sound on the game itself?
Make sure the levels are okay.
Besides us. Like, obviously, us. Olympus, this is Colonel PC name. On final landing approach, my voice is all messed up. I was not prepared for that.
Foresight, this is Paladin. Land immediately and stay on the flight deck, laddie.
What has happened to Paladin? That's you.
Nope.
What's going on here, James? Hobbs and I just destroyed that entire strike force. I took out 8 Kilrathi. And we destroyed Bode Fralathi. Frotha. It's hard to do that with an accent.
That wasn't the entire attack force.
Oh, jeez.
A huge Kilrathi fleet is moving in system. 5 carrier groups. First name.
Yeah, that's bad.
They destroyed our patrol ships before our boys could radio back to warn us.
What accent are you?
Fortunately, Major Edmund detected some of their tactical communications and was able to reconstruct their fleet size by their command codes.
Good God.
The system is going to be swarming with kittens in another few hours.
You're a pirate now!
You better get down here fast, lads, so you can ready your ship to launch again.
I'm locking into ALS now. Call sign out.
See, once somebody does a pirate voice, it's infectious.
I know,
Everybody has to
You
pirate
just
it up.
pirated it. I know. I guess what it is you're a better Southern Blair. Welcome back, sir. And I can hit those weird paladins.
I wouldn't necessarily say that any of us are good at any of this.
Listen, you just called us Wonder People not even a minute ago. So.
That was very impressive.
Most impressive. So that was like an almost mission that, like, really? Did you have to try? Because it just kind of happened, huh?
I tried. I'm a very good pilot.
Sure.
Yeah, I beat Kurosawa 2 live. One try.
Yeah, you can't locate your finger gun, though, can you?
Well, I don't have...
It was the other hand. You can't even use that. You can't even say that because you were using your right hand.
Flight deck, Olympus Station, Gorakar system. I guess this is goodbye again, laddie. I'm headed out to load into the Charm system to turn the approach vectors of the enemy fleet.
What are you doing?
Charm?
Paladin, if you're alone and a Kilrathi squadron moves through your area...
Kozan, we don't have enough ships to cover Olympus Station and me. I'm willing to take my chances. Besides, one little free trader alone in that system, they'll probably just ignore me. You should not wager your life on that assumption, Taggart.
That was good.
Take care of yourselves, boys. We'll hoist a few when I get back, eh?
I hope so, James. Well, thanks.
Colonel PC name, report to the flight deck for immediate launch.
Sorry, there's a helium leak in the communications center. We're all talking funny.
Happy birthday, Mickey Mouse. You'll be public domain soon. I seem to recall this puts you right in the face of some broth as you take off.
Call sign. Oh, that's you.
Call sign, this is Paladin. Do you read?
What? They're messing with us. No, I'm just floating by. James, the Kilrathi are starting their assault on Olympus Station. No, I'm making him too... Now he's like Eastern Southern.
Southern Belle. Hello, laddie. These are your new orders. Defend Olympus Station from the first wave of assault. And then get over here via the jump point as fast as you can. I've been attacked by a small squadron of Kilrathi.
James, are you alright?
My power plant and jump capacitor has been damaged. I can't jump out of here.
So basically everything we just told you.
But they're not attacking me right now. Another Kilrathi Imperial wing arrived here 2 minutes ago. And for some reason, they're shooting at the other squadron of kittens, not me. You better get here fast, laddie. Sounds like something's odd.
Hello.
Something odd has happened in the Charm system.
Yeah. No charm in this.
That's my Charmin. Is that an ad campaign that existed?
Maybe? That seems vaguely familiar, but I think we might have some
Nailed that
details
capital
wrong.
hit.
I will say though that you just hammered the hell out of the Krakow and it took it.
Yeah, that was
several full gun salvos and it took them all. Ooh, just a bit outside.
Yeah. But here, look, watch how this mission starts. They're literally in your face.
Yeah, they're lined up. Well, because they're probably trying, right? If we assume they're going to be... That can work well. Oh! Whoa! What the? What just transpired?
I just lost all my weapons.
Well, I would assume so because you killed one, two collided.
No, I collided into the second one.
A second, but then didn't the third one collide into the two of you? It looked like because I saw an extra wing in there that didn't belong.
Check the tape on that one.
Yeah, that was crazy. But anyways, my point was to say that my voice is cracking down for no reason. My point was that they're probably lined up on the hangar bay, getting ready to blast it out, and you just happen to be flying out just as they're on their final attack approach.
Well, but I was just having that conversation with Paladin.
Nailed that capital.
Like, was I literally just?
Yeah, I guess you were sitting
there with the killer.
You were lined up with the catapult, I guess. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, you're talking and flying. It's not really always clear. You're already near. Yep.
My wingman eliminated that frother nice and quick.
Yeah, you're getting really lucky with your wingman this evening.
They typically do take that one out immediately.
Well, yeah, because probably otherwise. Well, I know they probably have the base set to invulnerable, but.
Broken the mission somehow.
Let's see. So, because you're.
There we go.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah.
Heading to the Charm System. A place that exists.
Place that's there.
Why
it's there? We're Kilrathi on Kilrathi. Violence is trained. Oh, Paladin! There's an ejected Kilrathi pilot out here. I'm detecting failing life supports reading from his spacesuit. I don't know what my voice is. I've lost it. Do you want me to pick him up?
Why is Paladin going to decide this?
Yeah, I know. First off, how is that gonna puking his brains out?
Coulson, grab that killer with your tractor beam and help me out here.
I don't know what you just did.
I'm just gonna do him in French from now on. I'm gonna wink him at a movie.
Okay. I guess. I can't Freddie Prinze Jr. it, so I'm gonna... I like how they take the actual tractor beaming out and instead just throw you right back into the combat. Oh! That was the wrong color. That's the wrong...
Why are these killer actually so,
Who are you that flies so well? Okay, I mean your shields are junk. You keep losing your front shields. I'm watching, but I'm not too sure exactly what it has been, unless they're still trying to recharge from station defense.
Earlier,
yeah. That was always one of the things that bothered me about this, is that you have to wait for them to recharge. You can't just, afterburn and it resets itself. It makes you, be patient with that. Which I get, but I'd still like to, that easiness. Takiri! At least your turret guy was earning his pay.
Sure is. Ish.
Definitely sure is. There you go, hammering away. Oh. Even the Bonnie was firing on her.
It's the best kind of escort one where the other ship can't die.
Yes. The worst kind of escort one are those ones in Secret Missions 2. Where those Draymen are made of tissue paper. Uh-oh. What have you done?
Problematic.
Uh-oh, Houston. Your comms aren't oh, you could be. Check your damage. You don't have any front armor. Nope, no internal.
Well, what happens if I fly up near it?
Is this one of those 1,000-meter ones or something? I don't think. Oh, it is.
Okay.
Paladin, this is Coulson. I'm moving into parking position. We're just gonna drift by.
What I'm glad to see you, laddie.
Not bad. I only nailed 5 Kilrathi though. And I picked up that ejected Kilrathi pilot. Who could he be?
Good. I want to have a little talk with that fireball. Colson, the one how his father was badly damaged in the fight. I won't be able to jump back to Olympus. Stuck in Charm. It'll be several hours of slow traveling.
Yeah.
I'll need you to stay close and keep those cats away, lad.
Not a problem, Paladin. See, that looks great, but it's just like kind of what?
By the way, Chap pointed out that every accent turns into Chocula. Oh, that every accent he tries.
Yeah.
Hobbs.
Oh, Hobbs, where's Paladin?
He is tending to Prince Thrakath, our prisoner. You have rescued the heir to Kilra, Kalsine.
What? You're kidding, right?
Urban Blair? I would not joke about something like this. His routine regulator was broken, so he was slowly freezing to death.
Oh, like his older brother.
Another few minutes, and he would not have survived. Colonel Taggart took Prince Thrakath to the brig. You will probably want to join them there.
I would imagine so. I don't have a lot to say, apparently, though. But the heir to Kilra. Who we'll be talking about later.
Damn!
Oh, there you go.
Damn you humans! And you, renegade Kilrathi. You have no honor, Ragnar Hollis, to hold me prisoner in this way.
That's not easy.
I do not accept your definition of honor, Prince Thrakath.
I gotta do it normal.
It was really good, though.
It's hard.
Would you rather we left you floating out there for your little mates?
Yeah, dig deep for it.
Seems to me that you wouldn't be alive right now without us, Prince.
My cousin...
That's not the right person talking.
My cousin Castor tried to assassinate me, so he would be the next heir. I killed 8 of his squadron, but Cassera managed to destroy my fighter. Mangy little cur. I should have killed him years ago. So, humans, what will you do with me? Will you finish Cassera's work?
No, we'll take you to Confed High Command, and they'll decide what to do with you. In the meantime, you'll be our guest here aboard the Bonnie Heather.
Shouldn't it be prisoner? Ooh, that was tough, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That was, I did feel, though, like I sounded like him.
This is Paladin. You better come to the comb room right now.
Bring Prince Thrakath.
Bring Prince Thrakath with you.
What's going on, James?
Watch the screen and you'll see, laddie.
Why are you also talking to me on the screen when you're right next to me?
Human.
Oh.
Humans, I know that Prince Thrakath is aboard your ship.
Cassera, I will kill you, cousin.
Give us Thrakath and I may let you live, otherwise we'll destroy you. Damn it, the Fireball has a full squadron.
There's too many people talking right now that are not the right people.
Yeah, this is a con known bug with special operations. Yeah. We cannot fight against these odds.
I will go to the airlock, call sign. You will assist me in leaving this ship.
What are you talking about, Thrakath? Why am I talking to myself?
This is a matter of honor. I will not die on board an enemy ship.
Like hell, Thrak. I hate you and everything Kilra stands for. I like that Thrak. But I'm not gonna let that bastard kill you in cold blood, as I try to do in war every day.
Then I shall fight with you. You're staying
in the brig, furball. 5 minutes later, everybody's smoking cigarettes. What happened in the brig?
But that is a known bug with Special Operations 1. That scene just displays the wrong people.
All the time. Paladin, Avon Dogs and I'm heading to intercept Cassera's squadron. Paladin, do you read? Hobbs, this is call sign. I'm not getting any response from the Bonnie either.
That is because the freighter has had another power failure, Colonel.
Thrakath!
He lost power to the brig just as Raga locked me in. I did not hit him too hard. Hitting someone from behind is dishonorable.
Is this New England, Thraka?
Yes, New England. Now I'm borrowing Ralga's ship. I hope you do not mind.
You're going to dock immediately, or I will blow you out of space.
Fortunately, I'm already out of the range of your missiles. Now I will deal with my treacherous cousins and his Clara pilots.
Thrakath, you don't stand a chance alone against that squadron.
This is a matter of honor between Khazra and myself. Even if there is no chance of my survival, I am going to kill Khazra.
Paladin, I don't know if you can hear this. Thrakus is headed to the jump point. I'm going after him.
Now here's an interesting question that, of course, comes up in retrospect. Did he escape by doing something to Hobbs? Does he have some code word or something that Hobbs will let him
Wait,
out?
some type of trigger?
Yeah.
A hidden trigger word? I don't know. Since, that Hobbs really is convenient power failure, it's almost like Hobbs has something to hide. The world wonders. I will say, though, that was our first major, massive acting breakdown. Normally we're quite good on knowing who's who and what's what, but they changed the color of our character's text. We had the wrong heads popping
the
up.
bug hurt us.
Yeah. And I like how it's a matter of honor, yet I see Khasra in your gun sights.
Interestingly, so you actually do fight Khazra in Commander 2, you just never notice it.
He pops up at one point.
And in fact, you're assumed he is killed because he disappears after that. He's no longer in any cutscenes after he shows up as an ace.
Khasra! I don't want to hear any more about Khasra.
You mean like that?
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that. I remember that scene well.
Khazra Red Claw shall destroy you.
So where's Thrakath in all this?
He jumps. You'll see him.
Yeah, he's
pop in just a moment.
He's not really, very good.
He's not honorable.
No, he's not. Nothing really adds to his character being honorable either. He's kind of always like a slimy, not super slimy, but he's not quite. He's smart enough to get himself into trouble, but not smart enough to see it's coming. Or then you have Chukaga to be the smart guy to then remind you that he's smarter than you all the time. But he's not as successful as you are. Kind of like the internet. Dragon jumped out. I saw the flash. So now, PC Name is just cleaning up the skies for us. Right?
Hopefully.
You're doing alright. I mean, I think another thing, your missiles are on torpedo, which... Shields are holding. Somebody's peppering you every now and then in the back, but not enough to get you. Oh, look at all that space debris. Who doesn't love? Sometimes you just gotta let them all loose.
Yeah.
Even though...
Especially with IFFs.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. The main games, I tend to be someone who hoards their missiles.
Me too.
I'm always like, no, there'll be a better reason to use this, and then there never is. Or very rarely.
Even when I know there's no better reason, I still...
Yeah, because I'm always like, well, what's the point in it firing and missing? Because then that's just taking time I haven't been shooting at them with my guns. I especially in, like... Well, in 4 I use the missiles because they're just overpowered, so they can even things up rather quickly, but in 3, I would guess that 99% of the time I land with either 100% or only one missile fired. And usually the missile fire would be like a torpedo.
You cannot defeat me.
Or I guess on longbow missions I might fire a few more. But in Wing 1 and 2 I tend to be a big hoarder.
Note that we're calling distinct taunts from Kazra here.
Damn you, man.
Oh, there's one more.
No, there's no distinct nothing except a pile of debris.
I killed Kazra.
But you have no honor. Paladin, this is call sign. Do you read? Gotta watch him go all the way down.
What happened out there, Colson?
I took out 6 of those bastards and shot down Kasra. And Prince Thrakath escaped in our crossbow. You know, our prototype secret fighter that we are not supposed to tell anyone about.
Damn, that kitten would have been a prize to take back to Kunpet High Command.
Yeah, you're about to get...
You better duck and refuel, laddie.
Yeah, and you better duck and hide.
We have to get back to Olympus before the rest of the strike fleet arrives.
Because Paladin should be getting court-martialed. And so should Hobbs. Hobbs should be getting court-martialed, removed from the flight line, and brought back to HQ for debriefing as to how Thrakath got out of that situation. And yet, as I've come to discover in many sci-fi things, there are no consequences in space. Right?
Alright, guys.
Well, here we go.
Things are about to get bad. I don't mean our production values.
They can only...
Olympus Station, Korakar system. Olympus Station.
Olympus Station. This is Colonel PC name. Do you raid? But we'll get to the question. Yes.
Colonel, we thought you'd been killed, sir. We just assumed.
Yeah.
3 of those 5 Kuwaiti air groups attacked yesterday. We lost 14 pilots in the first wave.
Where are all these guys when I needed them?
And the next assault wave is 15 minutes away on final approach.
That's so not out.
We've been trying for hours to call for reinforcements, but the cats are jamming our frequencies.
Hobbs and I will fly defensive for you, Olympus. What? How many fighter ships are you ready on the deck?
Fighter ships?
Yeah.
2 sabers and a ferret. We can refit your crossbows when you land.
No time for that, Olympus. We'll fly the sabers.
Bad decision.
Hobbs, are you up for this? No, sir, I refuse.
2 sabers against the Frothra and their fighters. This should be entertaining, Colonel.
Alright, let's try to get back alive from this one, okay? I promise you that I wouldn't get myself killed, and I do not want to hear her complain to me in death.
Of course, Colonel.
Do we have any more lines? Okay, so no, the reason it takes so long is that, right, the torpedoes, it's the phase shield. Uh-oh, what the?
It's trying to let him in.
Yeah. Hit key to continue. We'll never know what happened. But it's the inaction stations.
Glad you made it to Olympus Station alive, sir.
A lot of the tech they talk about is that, right, the big thing about phase shields is that you have to break through them, right? You have to defeat them somehow, and energy weapons just smash against it, so you're beating it down, like Star Trek, I guess would be the way to think of it.
Yeah, your torpedoes are literally going through the shield, so
yeah.
they're sensing the shield frequency. The shields recharge so quickly that any amount of damage...
it takes a lot to overcome their refresh rate, their regeneration rates.
Yeah, so it's not like a pure explosion. When you hit it with a mace, the mace causes so much damage
it overloads.
That it takes out the whole thing in one go.
Yeah.
But you need a super weapon like that.
Yeah, the torpedo, essentially, it's like their phase penetrate. Major Edgman, I never had a chance to congratulate you
Over there.
on your fine work in detecting the enemy fleet's approach.
Just doing my job, sir.
But doing it very well. Without you, Olympus would have no warning of the attack.
Sir, there's a huge fleeting system. The odds of your surviving.
Is this the setup? Breaking the odds is what I do best, Major. Though I'd appreciate if you can find a way to get a message through the communications jamming and calling for a few reinforcements. You know, help. Damn, they've sighted the enemy fleet. What a weird line to say all of a sudden.
Good luck, sir.
Is he also... Thank you, Major. Is he also laying the base of game on the Major there?
I don't think so. She's very unpleasant.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But yeah, it's been the thing is in action stations they talk about like Arathir testing the torpedoes that it takes that like 30 seconds to defeat the shield's frequency and to match it. So that way when the torpedo gets there, it passes through it and explodes inside the shields against the actual hull as opposed to on the shields and just kind of washing the damage around.
So here we are, the hardest mission we Commander. I have 2 missiles.
Hey! You know what those are good for?
You'll rack these ships ahead.
I just love, too, how we've suddenly, you know... Oh.
Hey, Colonel PCNM, you need any help? Bear! The Admiral sent ahead after we lost communication with Olympus.
You have a very strange...
There's one hell of a big strike fleet coming in behind us, sir.
Form on my wing, Bear. We'll take care of these cats.
Affirmative, Colonel.
Oh, no, you were doing well. You sounded like the Russian
They
guy.
have it to Hobbs at the end for some reason.
Yeah. Well, you sounded just like the, from earlier when we were blabbing about the Russian guy in Armageddon. you sounded like him.
Watch your target, sir. Watch your target, sir.
Okay.
Not a good start.
Nope. Alright, so, for those keeping track, this is try 1.
Yes. And I almost should just eject at this point because I lost my forward.
Yeah. And this is one of those ones where,
Fighter down. You'll rack these ships ahead.
I mean, I guess you can have, luck smile on you and get it in one shot, but I don't think that happens very often.
No, you're going to take...
I'm trying to think
3 or 4 hits.
I'm trying to think if I've ever done it in, like, less than 5. I don't, because I haven't beat that many times. I mean, it's one of those ones where you beat it and you go, check, move into the done column.
I have done this thing.
Yes, I have. Oh, yeah, we know. I cannot be seen there. Do you need any help? Yes. Yeah, let's start those. But yeah, this is one of those ones, you give it like 10 tries and then you walk away for a day and you hope that, coming at it fresh that suddenly you're going to just walk right through it. Like sometimes happens in life. It doesn't happen with this. It definitely does not.
No, you never get that lucky.
No, this requires like all of your luck signs to be lined up, your rabbit's foot to be like you need everything to go. Oh, but anyways, getting back, one of the things that's kind of I never was a super fan of is how, and I mean I get why they have to do it, is that cruisers have suddenly become carriers.
Yeah.
Like the
this would have been a good place to have that high
down your gun, sir.
Yeah.
Watch your target, sir. You'll rack
exactly. To fight against that instead of just cruiser after cruiser or damn it, Bear. Damn it. I'm assuming that was Bear.
Probably Bear. He sucks.
Yeah, he does.
It's very bad.
Yeah, he did not help the situation. But I mean I always like felt like we were getting gypped on that, and then we get to the novels, they mentioned carriers and it was like, what type are they? What are they? What do they carry? What guns do they have? And then Fortune never really gives you any data about anything except the Hakaga. And that's really kind of it.
Well, we've seen the snake here. I mean,
yeah, you have that, but you don't see it like, you don't see it at this point, so you don't know, are these snake ears that they're going after? Or, it's like when we get to End Run, right? What are the carriers the 6 carriers they destroy on Kilraw? Are they going to be Fraltha? Are they going to be snake ears?
At that point, they should be snake ears.
Yeah.
If you assume Bill Fortune is imagining...
I require your assistance.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go that far. You just rammed your own missile. I think so. Did you afterburn?
No, he hit it.
Oh, okay. Because I thought I looked at the shield, your armor, and I thought it clicked it down there. But yeah, that was always one of those things that I always wish, because there's nothing like when you kill a carrier, it's such a great thing. One Commander 3 does a slightly better job of that, where there's only
ejecting
3 or 4 in the game you can kill on like the winning path.
Hobbs is ejected.
Well, whatever.
I know what you're thinking. Why couldn't it have been Bear?
He's got another place to be very soon after this.
Who are we talking about?
On his ridiculously stellar climb through the ranks, since he is a bit young for his final end-run position since...
Well, he will be a captain in 2 years.
Yeah.
Naval captain.
Yes. Yeah, because he'll be 27. He's 27 at the end of the book.
So.
Yeah, so that's pretty... I mean, that's...
Who was the youngest captain?
Ooh, I don't know off the top. I want to say... I know Nimitz was extremely young when he first got his first command. I want to say he was like 20... Oh! I should have known. It was one of our America's greatest naval legends, Stephen Decatur. A man most well known from the raid to burn the Philadelphia outside of Tripoli Harbor. One of the most daring of the age. He is unfortunately killed in a duel with a fellow naval officer, which is such a... If you ever want to examine some interesting naval history, look back at the early 19th century when the United States wasn't fighting. We were in between wars, kind of in between the Barbary and the War of 1812. So you have all these military guys who are really amped up, and they have nobody to go after. So it's the slice of, did you just bump me? Sir, I challenge you to a duel to defend my honor. And it literally would be like bumping their table at dinner and like knocking their spoon or like bumping into them, saying something kind of half rude. And, they'd have to have, they'd say, sir, I would like to schedule an interview with you. Which is how they would talk about shooting each other in a duel, is that you have an interview. And then they would have their second trip. And then a lot of times what really happens, like in life, is your friends go to each other, like your friends exchange, and like, listen, dude, he was worked up, your guy was worked up, and they try to get everybody to calm down and agree that everything's cool, and you go on with your life. With Decatur, well, that's what kind of happened. And then later on, one of the gentlemen he court-martialed was pissed about... I actually think it's Bainbridge, if I remember correctly, but I forget. Let me see who shoots him. And if you're in town, you can go to his house, because Decatur House is downtown.
Town, you mean D.C.?
D.C., yes. Sorry, yeah, D.C. is what I'm James Barron, that's who it was. That's because Barron, that's right. Barron was the captain of USS Chesapeake during the infamous Chesapeake Leopard affair, where the Chesapeake fired only one shot. Oh, I should also mention that shot was from the wrong side of the ship out to sea to signify to the Leopard that they were surrendering, because the ship had left port so ill-prepared and not ready for combat that the British were able to fire a broadside at her, and just to maintain honor, Barron fires one cannon in the opposite direction to signify the surrender of the ship, which is very bad. The Chesapeake is the unlucky of our original 6 frigates. So much so that you can actually walk into it today in England because it's a mill. They will actually capture it. And we'll talk about it because Forstchen uses that in one of the books.
A lot.
Yeah, I think in Action Stations is when he uses it. But
it's straight out of Starship Troopers because Heinlein uses it, and then like every budding conservative wannabe sci-fi writer retells.
Which is weird because I don't necessarily think that's exactly what happens. Like in terms of when James Lawrence because James Lawrence doesn't die. He's shot in the first moments of the battle, the USS Chesapeake and I believe it's HMS Sharon, and he's taken below deck, and then we'll give his famous "Don't give up the ship, fight her till she sinks." The irony being that as he's basically saying that, the ship is being given up because the crew had been so decimated by the British broadsides and rifle fire that they had to give it up the ship. But then it becomes a great slogan. That's one of those things, one of those days. I need to get one of those big flags. I need my own "Don't Give Up Your Ship" flag. I've seen the real one. Alright, so that was trying to kill some time while I loaf on... Oh! I should have kept talking about Captain James Lawrence. Alright, that was 3. Give you one more.
I mean, one more.
Give you one more. We're an hour and a half. Give you one more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jeez, note to self, I will not talk about what you're doing and just talk about James Lawrence instead.
All I do is talk about James Lawrence.
All I'd have to do is talk about James Lawrence. But yeah, the Chesapeake, she's the right. It's because the builder of that ship changed some of the dimensions on it, and then the master designer.
I'm going to restart this because I've already lost my forward.
Okay, that's all right. I understand that. I just now you made me forget what I was going to do.
You'll rack these ships ahead.
But anyways, yeah, Baron shoots Decatur. Stephen Decatur is our youngest captain. Oh, he was 25 years old when he was promoted to captain. But burning the Philadelphia in front of the guns of Tripoli kind of is a good resume builder.
I always put it on mine.
Yeah, exactly. You should, right? I believe he also commands, though, many of our season Constitution. I think he also commands in the first USS Intrepid and maybe the Enterprise. The early Enterprise is nothing fancy. It's just a sloop or something, if I remember.
But then they redid it for the first movie.
Oh, that's right. Yes, of course. And they gave it bigger sails and everything, right?
The sails, yeah.
Yeah, I actually had to. That was actually on TV today. There's another thing I should have talked about. How the other day, what was that? Monday. Oh my, that's a lot of rounds. On Monday, I was doing some work, and like a lot of people, I just put on I'll listen to sports radio or put something on for white noise. And for whatever reason, on Monday, Showtime started the day with you just ran that guy without even you just ran right into him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Showtime decided to air Star Trek 4, 6, Generations, and First Contact. So I had that going all day long where I was like, wow, that's a lot of Star Trek at once. And then this morning when I was doing some reading...
Hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer, yeah. Star Trek.
I require.
And then this morning, AMC had the original motion picture on, which I put on in the background. Which I should prelim. I'm not usually a big Star Trek person. I'm slowly catching
I require your assistance.
Up, I guess. Not really up. I guess I've seen chunks like everybody of everything, but I'm in no way
very impressive.
A knowledgeable fan. I remember just enough, or like anybody, you fall into a Wikipedia hole and then you start. Like I'm currently watching DS9 for the first time, and I read the entire arc of DS9 on Memory Alpha anyways, so I know everything that basically kind of happens because I had never really planned on watching it. So yeah, and then after the show we're gonna watch this week's Discovery, so it's a very heavy Star Trek week for me. It's usually not my thing. Nothing against it, Starfleet makes me, if I had hair I would pull it out, to be honest.
Well, that's what happened.
Exactly, yes. As Ben and his wife can vouch, there are times where I go off on... I have very serious issues with Starfleet's lack of administration and punishments. There's someone in particular who, if he's not put up by captain's mast and court-martialed and busted down like 4 ranks, I might lose my mind. Saru. All right, so I, just trying to keep it moving, and it's weird. It's almost like when we don't talk about, we talk around Ben, that he seems to, I don't know, like, what the hell are you doing now? Oh, you're getting out to distance, waiting for the torpedo
I'm
lock.
already at a distance, and I figured instead of autopiloting, I would.
Yeah, totally, because then you drop too close and you get run over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the plot of DS9 has been fine. I mean, it's funny. I was a Babylon 5 person first, so it's funny for me to see like a lot of the ridiculous things that match up. Like, I would not say I'm a. How do you put it? I'm not I don't hate JMS, but I'm not a supporter of his weird arguments about things. Although I have given him more money than I care to admit. Ben likes to shove in my face every now and then.
Returning to base.
The lowest blow you can tell someone is that they own the Babylon 5 Encyclopedia print edition. I do. But you have digital access, so it's not good. It's not good.
All right.
We even tried to talk our way through because that's a good thing to remember though from now on is that you have to be in a zone not responding, And just with that noise there, you seem to get you were getting into. I'm surprised you went a really long time on that last one too.
I did get pretty far, but
Michael,
do
not make me come up there and kill you. I heard on Amazon they're selling it for insanely cheaper. Did you just start all the wood again?
I started the wood again.
Oh, is it playing? Who knows?
No.
All right.
Good. Well, we tried hard.
Those are two very good attempts and two not so good attempts.
Probably sometime, maybe on the weekend or something, I will do like a stream where I just try over and over and over again, and you guys can watch me become increasingly frustrated by that.
You guys don't keep talking about it. The Babylon 5, it shouldn't be spoken about. Don't trust me. As someone who owns it, the Wikipedia for it is 100,000 times better, and often in many cases it's clear. Anyway, let's move on to Wing Commander, something more interesting.
So it's time for the cargo bay, and this is the part of our show where we show you the dumb stuff I've bought and gotten in the mail in the last week. And we got 2 items for you this time. I'm going to tell you, this is a hard R.
Oh, send the kids to bed.
Send the kids to bed.
Yep.
This is going to be, it's
Woo! Yeah. Hey, whoa, that's my face giant up there. I wasn't prepared to see myself.
So first of all...
All right, what's our first item?
Well, first of all, we have this blue box copy of Privateer. This is the German release.
Would you like? I will model this part of it for us. It's a box on a box. In case you're curious.
In Europe, they did. We talked about this last week. Actually, they do these fantastic blue box edition classics instead of the thin little black or gold ones in the U.S. And they come with all the documentation, which is really cool.
Bonus.
So far, I've been able to identify 13 different ones, and I'm trying to collect them all. I think I'm at 6 or 7 right now, and I've got 2 that are coming in the mail that are from France, which is. I speak French. I lived in France. I don't have many French Wing Commander games, so I'm kind of trying to do that. But I love these. They totally translated the UK manuals for Privateer. Yeah, show them. We are in Himmel.
I know. I was like, it's weird looking.
Privateer 2. I found 4 different gold boxes: German, French, English, and
trippy
Swedish, I believe.
Ooh.
And the really exciting thing about that particular auction was not that it was Privateer 2. Well, the Privateer 2 was incredibly exciting.
We'll get to that one day, too. Yeah, we'll have to add that.
Absolutely. That's going to be good.
Will we ever play every Wing Commander game on this show?
All wings are being considered.
Hey.
So this was in the auction, and this I was super jazzed about.
Yes, he has been talking about this since I got here.
This is a European Privateer 2 The Darkening patch CD.
Ooh.
So, back then the internet was a thing.
Put it on the big screen.
So most of us would have downloaded the patch for Privateer 2. But if you wrote to Origin or EA UK...
Here's what you really want to see right there.
They would send you a physical CD of the patch. And here it is.
Yep.
And that's one of my favorite things to collect. I got a Special Operations patch recently. I've got in fact, I just won an auction the other day. This is spoiling probably next week's Cargo Bay. But I got a Wing Commander 1 5.25-inch patch disc, and I am so excited. Because it's that ephemera. That's so, there are a million copies of Wing Commander 1 out there, but nobody saved their patch disc or their mailer or their little receipt, so it's always cool when you pick those up.
I just put all that stuff into plastic bags in a box.
Now here's our hard R. I think I teased this on Twitter, but this came in the mail from Miss Ginger Lynn Allen. So it's going to be.
I would start with what's in the folder, so
okay,
they know it's real.
Okay, yeah,
it's certified.
So, backstory first. Ginger Lynn Allen played Rachel in Wing Commander 3 and Wing Commander Prophecy.
And she starred in some other films.
Yes, and
hundreds of them.
She's famous for being one of the premier adult entertainers of the 1980s, which...
what a fancy way to say that.
And it was never something that super excited me as a Wing Commander fan because, not I don't like naked ladies or something like that, but it's... this was my dad's naked lady.
Yeah.
There was never this sense like, whoa, she's super hot. But she's actually a fantastic actress. She's amazing in Wing Commander. She's a super sweet person.
Well, listen, when you have to fake it that many times, you get to be a good actress, I think.
She's come to the forums and challenges.
She is very...
Wing Commander. She's very, very nice.
She's very nice, if sometimes interesting at the same... She has her own sense of flair, I guess, is the nice way to say it.
And so she's always having all sorts of auctions, and usually they're entirely filthy. I won't say entirely, because she sells her own paintings, and...
Show them one of the paintings.
That was what was in that.
Oh, the sticker. No, it's on the plastic.
So she paints, and she weaves rugs.
Let me...
all sorts of creative stuff.
I'll put it on the big screen for the people.
Yeah. But, most of the auctions that she lists...
Oh, come on, focus. There it is.
Most of the auctions she lists
Blame it on Ginger.
On eBay and so forth are, old VHS tapes of her various films, used underwear, all sorts of things that I don't know who buys it. Everything has a fandom, but rarely Wing Commander related. But yeah, here, I'll show you. You want to show my certificate? She sent a certificate of authenticity.
It's authentic, and if you're wondering, where is the signature, like I did, she signed inside the ribbon.
Oh, this is going to be so disappointing when you see what this is.
Yes.
So what I have gotten from Ginger is this booklet, which was her fan club catalog from 1997. So between Wing Commander 4 and Wing Commander Prophecy, Wing Commander 3 and Wing Commander Prophecy. And the reason I got it, well, first of all,
Here, let me put on the big screen. You talk about it. I'll put it on the screen for everybody. To Ben. Yeah, Ginger's newest 1824 4-color poster. Oh, keep it hard.
Yes.
Like wood. Hardwood. Build stuff with it.
So, yeah, show us some of the...
Well, first, let me just start with this.
I think it's incomplete, but maybe the letters are together.
Ben was like, I think she misspelled incomplete, but... Why is there an R at the end? Incompleter? Incompeller? Like, I don't know. Now, if you're curious, she does list her both mainstream.
Yeah, got Wing Commander on the back, but that is not why I bought it.
Right, so there we go. See, there's Wing Commander. Ooh, where's my finger? There's Wing Commander. There's her mainstream stuff, and then here's her adult stuff. And that's clearly only a fraction of it.
And I don't want to sound judgmental about it. I mean, that's fantastic if that's your thing. And
I
certainly succeeded at that. I'm not going to shame her in any way.
So, no, I guess these look all okay for the kids. But, it's just...
So she sells posters and, sexy pinups. I mean, I don't know who you would have known in 1997 who would have had them on their wall. You probably would not want to have known them.
Yeah, no, but I like how some of them also have names. Like Setting the Scene, Skating 2, Purple Fashion, Rub-a-Dub, Savage Passion.
But let's move on from the nude ladies.
Sure. Where's there a page you want me to look at?
Well...
Ginger's personal wardrobe collection.
Yes, you can buy her clothes, you can buy her videos.
There's the page.
It's later where it gets interesting and ridiculous, and then we have to... Okay, look at this one. That is so good. This is a woman after my heart.
Ginger Linens.
The sexy photos don't do so much for me, but that pun, man.
That is good. I mean, you got to work with what you got, and Ginger's Linen, and this is from a guy, you have people's faces on pillows in your basement. Oh, hello.
Here we go.
Interesting.
Oh, you can get a phone call from her.
I like her upmark here.
This is why I got it, which is that she sold through her fan club.
Where's my face?
There's your face. It's still in your face.
I don't believe it.
It's a page of Wing Commander stuff.
Oh, wrong hand, sorry.
If in 1997 you had wanted a copy of Wing Commander 3, a Wing Commander 3 poster, or the Wing Commander 3 novel.
Look at the markup.
Yeah, it's a nice markup on Wing 3. But
yeah, $75.
Signed it.
Yeah.
But, just the idea of the fact that there was Ginger must have had this stack of the banned Wing Commander 3 novels, like at her warehouse or apartment or whatever.
Somebody should ask Captain Johnny what he's up to. Is Johnny here tonight? Because if
I don't
not,
think he's here tonight.
Johnny, as he's tied up.
So, I saw that and
postcards.
Like I'm gonna buy this.
This is, and just in case you dirty minds are curious, this is not sexually oriented calls.
Yeah.
U.S. members only.
Members only.
Oh, what the? Why is there a bug? I don't know.
Well, there we go.
Would you like to get in the pants?
Or the ginger coffee mug. This was before Cafe Press had rendered all such things so irrelevant.
What is the chili for? Is that because it's hot?
I don't know.
I guess so.
We need a 1990s sociologist to figure that one out.
Oh, can't show that page. Oh, boy. Everything you've ever wanted to know about Ginger. Are you guys curious what her sexual fantasy she'd like to fulfill? No, because she's done it all. That's great. These are horrible answers I'm not even going to bother reading, because, like, really?
Okay.
Yeah, like, that's not even funny.
That's super 90s copywriting.
Yeah.
A puzzle! We get a Ginger puzzle.
Be the first kid on your block to have these official... She's naked in them. That's definitely boobs. Okay.
You heard it here first, folks. That's definitely boobs.
But it says, be the first kid on your block. That is the exact sentence. I am not...
90s copywriting, man.
Well, listen, as someone who understands kind of how this stuff is created, yeah, this is just somebody copying and pasting.
In fact, you had some experience with it.
Yes, I did. I probably described some of her films in the past. Rub-a-dub-dub and a mouse pad. Oh, my goodness.
So that was our big adult reveal, the Ginger Lynn catalog. And against my better judgment, I will say that we will scan this entire thing. And
May I have the folder,
Oh, you want the folder
to make sure
okay.
that your certificate of authenticity?
She actually sent the folder. I did not add that.
Oh, I'm surprised she didn't charge you for it. Oh my.
So with that, it's time to make the jump to the next part of the show.
We're not jumping anywhere, bro. We're staying in this system. We're staying in. This is an
charm system.
This is an in-system jump. Remember those? No, you don't, because they only appear in secret missions too.
Hey, look, Gorakar 2. Gorakar Talk is back.
Hey!
And it has a new logo, kind of.
Kind of. I was going to say, what happened to the HK there? It's that funkiness going on. It's interesting.
That's the font stop or locks or... Anyway, this is the part of the show where we take a canned question from before the show.
Yes.
Somebody who's asked us on the forums or here or somewhere or wherever. And we try to answer it with a little bit of detail. Sometimes some multimedia when possible. We got a couple pictures today. But let's
we're pulling from the
press
credits.
the button and bring up that question. You want to read this guy?
Sure. 2 CIC Confed fleet from Toast. Location?
Toast.
Probably hiding in the back seat somewhere. Only I can't read when you cover it. What? And it's subject Kilrathi politics. What exactly happened with Kilrathi imperial politics after the destruction of Kilra? Melek is still in charge of what's left of the civilization in prophecy. But what about everything else? Which is a very good question that we get a lot of great detail, right? From a novel we'll cover later.
Yes, so there's a couple sources for an answer to this question.
Yep.
We hear a little bit about it in Wing Commander Prophecy. We hear a bunch about it from the Wing Commander 4 novel.
Yep.
And we get a whole bunch about it in Star Soldier, the Wing Commander Arena Manual, which fills in some of the extra parts.
And False Colors has
a little bit too.
A mass about it, yep.
So at the very end of the war, Melek declares himself Chancellor of something called the Kilrathi Assembly of Clans, which is the political body that negotiates the peace with the Confederation, that surrenders to the Confederation. It's basically,
It sounds like the seat. Remember, like when we were kids, it's like that summer you go home, like you leave in June at school in what was it, like 6th grade or 5th grade, and the Soviets, the commies are our enemies, and you come back to school in September, and now the Commonwealth of Independent States are our friends? What?
And there's our map of the Kilrathi Assembly of Clans. It's basically all the Kilrathi systems you're familiar with. It includes Gorakar, some of the ones that had joined the Confederation. They're now part of the Kilrathi Assembly of Clans, which, of course, you see on the Wing Commander Universe map, which is what's right there. So Melek names himself Chancellor. Inwardly facing towards the Empire, he names himself Shintar, which is the highest admiral rank, or basically he's Admiral Melek to them.
Yeah, he's like Space Marshal or...
Yeah, because he to the Confederation, he's this peaceful leader. To the Kilrathi, in order to retain power, he needs to be a military hero. Or
powerful.
So Confederation analysts, at the end of the war, they study, Kilrathi sociology, anthropology, and so on, and they expect that it will be 2 decades for the Kilrathi to adjust to the post-war period. The Assembly of Clans is recognized by the Confederation, but not by every Kilrathi warlord. The capital is relocated from Kilra to the Pasquale system, which we see in Wing Commander 4. That's where you're escorting Melek. He's headed back home to the Pasquale system. And so you have all these warlords that either... Basically, Melek is trying to force these warlords to support him. Oh, this clan, you support me, so on.
He's trying to keep the Soviet Union together.
Exactly.
And except it's fallen apart. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Kilrathi monolithic religion, the Sivar Death Cult, basically splinters also, because you have this idea that maybe we are destined to go to the stars and win every battle and so on sense is no longer accurate.
Yeah, it's challenged their core beliefs of that.
So the direction that it takes is this new form of Kilrathi religion, which now says, and it's endorsed by Melek and his Assembly of Clans, which is that Blair was this savior figure, and he was there to wash the Kilrathi of their sins, by destroying Kilrathi, cleansed in fire. So there's sort of this Blair cult going on.
It is a really weird scene in the novel.
Yes, we actually, in the Wing Commander 4 novel, we see the temple, the Kilrathi temple. Now, the immediate concern to the post-war Confederation in 2669 is what you call Kilrathi colonial settlers. Because, obviously these two empires have been matching against each other. The Kilrathi have taken large swaths of former Confederation worlds. In the first stage of the war, they took 30% of the Confederation and enslaved those planets. So you now have this conflict of these worlds that are repatriated to the Confederation, but they have huge Kilrathi populations. And this is immediately a huge conflict. There's anti-Kilrathi riots on these planets, and this is all from Star Soldier, which sources this. I wrote Star Soldier. Sources this to the timeline they created for Privateer Online, and I wanted to make it canon, so I put it in the timeline in Star Soldier. So there's these anti-Kilrathi riots on the frontier worlds. The Senate begins negotiating them and issuing all these, it's something like 83 different bills to try to protect Kilrathi settlers. They can't, there's nowhere for them to go, but they also don't want them there. The Kilrathi on these planets, on these frontier, it's the Kilrathi equivalent of the border worlds, essentially. And they have a spokesman, and I'm going to say this wrong, I apologize to any Kilrathi out there. It's Mragakrath Narhalas is their spokesman, and he's this...
Is the M silent, maybe?
No.
Maragarath?
Yeah.
Marag...
So he's this charismatic Kilrathi spokesman. He's Kilrathi Beto O'Rourke or something. Whoever the charismatic politician guy is now. Somebody named Butthead or something, I think I saw. So he comes to be this symbol of hope for these Kilrathi on the frontier. And of course, as such, in all this, he is assassinated at a conference on Venus, of all places. It's a conference about establishing Kilrathi rights, and the Confederation has a huge unemployment problem. There's this massive unemployment as these millions and millions of men-at-arms come home.
Billions almost, right?
They come home and they have nothing to do. And one of the things that they do is start taking their anger out on the Kilrathi. So the unemployment is skyrocketing on the core worlds. Veterans are coming home. Then they start... we have these renegade attacks on Kilrathi colonies. The Navy starts marshaling forces to... patrol this militarized area just because it's such a powder keg. But after this charismatic spokesman after this charismatic spokesman he is assassinated. The problem, and it's terrible, but it kind of solves itself because a large percentage of these colonists on these bi-occupied worlds commit Zukara. They feel that they cannot live in this world with it
Kilraw gone.
Yeah, it's Kilraw's
Their
gone.
clan structures are fractured. That there's no meaning left to their lives.
Yeah.
Right.
And the tie-in here to Privateer Online, which I included in the manual, become canon, even though it goes nowhere because there's no associated story, is that the Gemini sector in particular is a flashpoint because over half the population is Kilrathi. All these plans for integration are protested by the Merchants Guild specifically, which has this free trade agreement in the Gemini sector, and they are seeing that making the Kilrathi part of this free trade agreement will give them so much economic power in the Gemini sector, which is exactly what happens. And it boils down into this battle with raiders, Kilrathi raiders, human raiders fighting each other again in the Gemini sector. And it all comes to a boil with what was supposed to be the kickoff for Privateer Online, which was that this team of scientists is captured and tortured. They're scientists looking for stealth tech artifacts. Call me if you've heard that one before. And they are captured and tortured. So that's the first big frontier crisis, and it's essentially resolved when so many of these Kilrathi commit honorable suicide. But meanwhile, the Empire itself is in shambles, and over the next couple years, we have particularly powerful warlords who... everybody is fighting to become the next emperor. Melek believes that he can establish this assembly of clans, but also he will eventually be recognized as emperor or his children or so on.
Delusional. You're literally
he's not gonna
you're literally, and I don't mean this because he's a puppet, but he's literally a Muppet of Thraketh. Like you're like you're the Smithers. Like you're not going to get the show. You're not in the will. Like no matter how hard you think you are, you're not gonna unless you seize power violently. And Melek has really not displayed any of that.
So we now have this Kilrathi Game of Thrones situation where warlords are battling and everybody's trying to become the next, they're basically taking the pieces that are left, this clan still has 5 loyal destroyers. You ally with me, I'll give you a powerful position in the new empire. And it finally breaks down into there being 5 factions. It's Kilrathi devolved into a 5-way civil war. And that is... by 2673, the factions in this civil war are Mirag's Empire, which is the Karg Governorship, the Kiranka Overlay, the Kaira Clan, and the Shikag. Now, what those different things are, first Mirag's Empire, that is a reference to the novel False Colors. The essential story of which is that the Landreich, which is a human offshoot...
Landreich!
They're not part of the Confederation. They're a separate space star nation. And they're, hard scrabble,
They're frontier people.
Frontier people, yeah.
They are like the perfect kind of frontier, right? You're living on the edge, doing what you want. There's no restrictions. I can live and, I'm going to build my house on the edge of this cliff, and nobody's going to tell me no.
So they discover, through a series of fortuitous incidents, the remains of a Kilrathi heavy carrier, the Karga, which had been deployed to the region by Thraketh in the last days of the war. It took a hit in a system where it was irradiated, and...
Brown Dwarf.
Basically, the ship was abandoned. Some of the crew survived onto a planet. Most of them were killed. So the Landreich goes out there, they take the carrier, they restore it, and they find this survivors from the crew on the planet, which includes a man or a kill named Kagdai Mragnar.
Wow, so you remember that off the top of your head? I'll say, wow, I remember Murag, but I don't remember the rest of his name.
No, I'm not reading this.
I know you're not reading that. I know it's not written down there. I saw that. That's what made me just be like, damn.
So it turns out that he is second cousin of the prince, and he may have the strongest blood claim to the empire. He's part of an offshoot of the Kiranka clan, which was the prince's clan. And he basically makes a deal with the Landreich, says, okay, I'll help you with this, but I want you to help be put in a position where I can go and reclaim the empire. So he's one of the factions.
He's our good-ish guy?
I mean, good is good. Now, Andrew Keith, who's unfortunately no longer with us,
great guy,
proposed 2 sequels to False Colors, which would have followed his story. The third one would have followed Mrag's story as he went back to the Empire And basically the plot was that he was this Bonnie Prince Charles character where he takes the Karga into Kilrathi space. He's going to take over the assembly of clans from Melek with his captured ship, and it ends up terribly. He fails, and he is exiled and on the run from police forces. And that he is the basis. He then goes and forms his own empire, and he's fighting this war.
Yep.
In fact, one of the warlords, the other warlord we see in False Colors, is a guy named Ukar Ragark, who is... He has less of a claim on the Empire, but he has built up a sizable force.
He has a giant space station.
Yeah, he's built up a sizable military force at this point, with especially one of those 22-kilometer dreadnoughts commanded by a guy named Dox Jorad, who has pledged his loyalty to Ragark, and they're first going to fight the Landreich to prove that they can defeat humans, and then they're going to take back the Empire. And
the Vorgoth?
In the events of False Colors, they basically put an end to that by eliminating the Dreadnought. And he's still around, but he's a lesser warlord at that point.
Well, they just take the front of their old Dreadnought off. That'll be a fun. It's been a long time since I read that one. That'll be a fun one.
If there's one lesson I've learned in boat design, it's that boats need bows.
Yeah, and apparently bows fall off.
Yeah. So the other factions in this the Five-Day Civil War is introduced in the Wing Commander 4 novel, and the factions themselves I got to specify in Star Soldier. So the others are based on different clans. The Karg governorship is it's just one of the clans we hear about in Fleet Action. One of the 8 noble clans is the Nark Karg, and I just like the fact that it's a Kilrathi name that starts with a Q. Kiraka Overlay is the remnants of the Emperor's clan.
Yeah, and Thraketh and their
family. The Thraketh Emperor's clan. In fact, I think it's led by their executioner. I have some details of that in Star Soldier. The Kaira were the second most noble clan during the war. They were the closest cousins to the Kiraka.
It's
Chukaga, yeah.
Yeah, that's his clan. Whose blood is thicker, they say.
Yes. And the Shikag, which were formerly the lowest of the 8 noble clans. They were the trash clan that everybody talked shit about.
Yes.
And so now I like the idea that after this massive schism, they now have enough power to be one of these factions. But this war is essentially still going on. 2675 is when Morag tries to take over Pasquale and fails. But as of 2681, when Wing Commander Prophecy starts, it's still a 5-way civil war. Piracy is rampant. We have, if you read the ISIS manual, there's the Blood Eye Pact has just been eliminated. You run into Kilrathi pirates in Prophecy, the Tagabran clan. So you have all these small warlords who are out for themselves. They're not necessarily thinking they'll be emperor someday, but they've got their own fiefs and they're taking what they want to survive. There is some unification in the war against the Nephilim, but the Civil War is still continuing afterwards.
Yeah.
And so 30 years later, the Kilrathi are still fighting. I should also mention that
that's all they do.
There is another nod in the Wing Commander 4 novelization, which is that this is not so much a space war as it is a ground war. The Kilrathi do not have shipbuilding capabilities at this point, or they're very limited.
And they lost most of their fleet at Kilra because they were gathering the Grand Fleet to march to Earth again.
So this is a massively... violent ground war, and it would be really cool to see it someday. And so that's what happened to the Kilrathi afterwards. Then the Confederation does have sociologists who say, okay, they will come back together, they will emerge stronger.
Yeah, they just have to beat themselves.
It's just going to take time.
Yeah.
And no bugs interrupting them.
No. But the bugs show up.
There was also a Privateer 3 story where there was a Kilrathi... where they were searching for a Steltec time machine that was going to bring back Kilrathi.
Oh, Jesus.
That one is not in Star Soldier, so that's not canon.
Nice job. I appreciate your editing that one out.
I didn't take it out. If they had put that in the timeline, I would have included it. Because there were a couple of ridiculous timeline entries I hated, but I felt obligated to respect that original document.
I gotcha.
But that one was not in it.
That's good. That's good. I like that we don't have, time travel on Wing Commander.
But I will close this one with I've had people come to me saying, "What do you do for a Wing Commander story after the war?" And more aliens. But here's Melek, by the way, Chancellor Melek, everyone's friend.
I like how you had to go with that. You didn't go with the slightly nicer looking one.
I went with the higher resolution one.
You did.
So my pitch for a sequel to Wing Commander Prophecy, or a sequel Wing Commander game. One of the big things about Wing Commanders, you always want to figure out how to bring back the Kilrathi. There was a problem with all the later games is the Kilrathi are what people want to see.
Yeah.
So we had World War II. I would have loved to have done a follow-up story, which is Vietnam, but with Kilrathi. Basically, you're a part of some Confederation group that are advisors for what maybe Melek's faction in this war, and so you're getting to fight all these other clans, and you can make decisions, are we supporting the right one? Is the Confederation wasting treasure and men and so on, making this happen?
Are you thinking this is like a first-person shooter?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think any space game today would be a first-person shooter and a space game, so it would mix it up. But basically, the Confederation, maybe illegally, is providing forces to support the Kilrathi.
Okay.
And it's just getting bigger, more and more embroiled in this conflict.
Yeah, and they're trying to pay off which side they think is most friendly to their beliefs.
Yeah,
and objectives.
they want to destabilize the Kilrathi, so they're happy to keep it being whatever faction they like
that
best.
They're strong enough where they think that they can do anything, but they're kept at such a point and fighting themselves that they can't do anything. Serious. Yeah.
So that is hopefully the answer to that question. I'm sorry we didn't have much more multimedia for that one, but almost all of this is just text.
It's all good novel stuff and manual stuff.
And hey, that was a good segue.
Yeah, it was, because
it is time for book club chat. So if you have not joined us before, we have been slowly reading through the novel Wing Commander End Run, which I have a copy of somewhere. And we have this open chat where we talk about a couple chapters every 2 weeks. Today it is chapters 9 through 12, which is the very end of the book. And we invite anybody who wants to can connect to the WC News Discord server. If somebody could throw that in chat, if anybody there wants to join.
I will do so.
Hooray. And just join the voice chat channel and you can talk in at us. And it's just going to be a nice conversation with some very good people about the second Wing Commander novel. Let me go over to Book Club Chat. You see folks joining now. Get my space helmet on. Hey guys, can you hear me?
I might have my volume down. Wait, who's that?
Hey guys. Hey.
I hear Chris, I think, very lightly. But I don't know if it's my volume.
Testing.
I hear Chris very loud.
Okay.
Yeah. Who was the other person who was quiet?
I'm here.
I hear Leha.
I hear Leha. Okay.
Hello. This is Chris.
Yep, I hear you, Chris.
I hear.
Oh, I might hear somebody might be echoing through somebody.
I'm echoing through somebody. If you mute the regular stream.
I think you.
Yep, I hear you, Chris.
Do you guys need to pull your microphones down on your headsets?
No, we don't even use these. We're using a big microphone between us. Yeah, but somebody just needs to mute their stream.
I think it might be Leha. Leha,
are you double dipping?
Is this better?
I think we're good now. Yeah, that's better.
Oh my god, I forgot my most important part of this.
I don't hear you guys.
Actually, today I guess we have to.
Yeah, I'm just going to say.
No, I'll do that later.
I hear Chris. I don't hear anybody else.
Okay, we're good now, I think.
I have to represent the ship, since
need to do something with their audio input?
No, we're good now. It's all good now.
It's all. We look good.
Yeah, I sent him a message in Discord.
Oh, okay.
So, I will start by giving us a quick summary of these chapters. Oops. Sorry, I accidentally switched inputs. So I will just start by giving us a quick summary of these chapters. This is the end of End Run.
Quick summary.
Quick summary. No, this will be quick. It'll be quicker than the Kilrathi talk.
Yeah.
So chapter 9... when we last left our heroes, the Tarawa was hit by a kamikaze Shaka, or stealth fighter. Maybe it was a Shaklar. I know this didn't exist yet, but...
You don't know.
And the bridge is destroyed, much like the Intrepid and Wing Commander 4, and the captain is killed. So Bear lands, and he takes command, and he says, we're going to set up a new bridge here with random parts, and we're going to keep fighting, because the Captain O'Brien, or Commodore O'Brien, had wanted to withdraw, and Bear says, no, we're going to stay there and rescue our people who are... The Marines are still setting explosives on the Kilrathi moon. That happens. The Tarawa stays and continues to fight the Kilrathi, and it becomes increasingly desperate. We're losing more and more fighters. We're taking hits on the ship. Everything is getting really bad. The Marines manage to make it off the planet. They destroy the Kilrathi carriers under construction, but Bear's girlfriend Svetlana is on the last troop transport, and she doesn't make it out. Her landing craft is shot down.
Mute your mic in Discord.
Mute my mic in Discord. Okay.
Your headset was clicking down. It might have been popping in too. But I see it now. I see it's muted. No, it's okay. Sorry. Let's see. Good now.
Wait, no, you don't want my mic muted in Discord because then people in the book club chat can't hear me.
Oh, that's right. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what Michael wanted me to do. So Svetlana ends up setting off the explosives herself. Big Hollywood movie moment. She dies, and the Tarawa finally retweet. Oh, you are muted.
Oh, I am muted. Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
That makes more sense.
But because all right. We'd actually been smooth sailing, so I think that one down there.
Okay.
Yeah, now I hear you. Yeah, all right.
There we go. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
So, Chapter 10. The Tara fights this running battle. They're continuing to fight this running battle, trying to escape from the Kora system.
Yep.
Prince Drakath is on their tail with his carrier. Things are being depleted. First, the escort corvette is destroyed. Tara figures in. They make it seem like they're going to attack Kora, so Drakath diverts to protect it, and then they instead hide in the atmosphere of a gas giant for repairs. And they come up with this plan, which is to head straight at Kilra at full speed while also launching what seem to be suicide ships, a ferret loaded with explosives and abandoned marine landing craft loaded with explosives.
Old-style atomics.
Yeah. So Thrakath goes after these ships that are going to hit the capital city, and instead of ramming the planet, the Tarawa hits the atmosphere, uses its tractor beam, and swings at full speed without closing its scoop, and escapes to a jump point to another star system.
Yes.
And the Emperor... Meanwhile, we also find out, through the Emperor rather than through human viewpoint characters, that the Confederation attack at Vukartag has been successful. Karathi, 4 legions of Isodakar. The 4 legions of Karathi Imperial Guard are destroyed. 5 carriers are sunk. It's a rout. So it's a disaster for the Karathi, and of course they're grandson, you have to destroy this escort carrier no matter what. Our honor demands it. We are in a bad place right now. So, Chapter 11, we're chased through several systems. We learned through the Karathi viewpoint that Thrakath knows that he can jump ahead of them because he has map jump points that they haven't. But we finally get the Tarawa. They jump to one system, they jump to another, and they capture an orbital base. They conduct some repairs, but they're still running. There's a Karathi destroyer group chasing them, and there's Karathi carriers ahead of them. So they finally jump to the final system, which is called Barag, and this is where the Karathi have sealed off all 3 exit jump points. If the Tarawa can get past them, they jump to what is called the Jubara system, and then home to the Confederation, to the long jump they took at the beginning of the novel. But that doesn't seem likely because there's no way through. The Thrakath's carrier is blocking the way. The other carriers have sealed off the other entrances.
Yep.
And the Karathi fighters attack. Grotha torpedo bomber.
There's an asteroid belt.
Yes, there's an asteroid belt.
Minefield.
It's a bad situation. And at this point, they've taken so many hits, they're pretty much blind. They can't communicate. They can't steer the ship.
They're leaking air.
There's the Grotha, by the way. This is the only familiar ship introduced in this chapter. Usually we have a slideshow of all the familiar Ring Commander ships, but that's the only new one here.
Yep.
So just at the last minute, Tarawa is totally blind. The escort destroyer, Captain Grierson, on the TCS Intrepid destroyer, we find out that he's turned back and he is basically headed straight in on the Karathi carrier and cruiser. Thrakath's carrier, but it's directed by a cruiser. So he, goes up in flames, destroying this cruiser. He takes out the cruiser, doesn't hit the carrier, and Bear says, "Helm, can you get me the ability to turn around? We're going to ram this guy. It's over for us." And then Doomsday contacts them or lands his saber and says, "No, wait, the Concordia is here." And it's a big Deus Ex Concordia. That was really good. So Talwyn He has taken the Concordia from the mop-up at Vukartag against orders.
Yep.
And he has jumped through the Jubara, the long jump, and he has arrived to save the Tarawa. He had received communications from the Kilrathi, intercepted communications from the Kilrathi that they were closing on Tarawa, and he knows he can save them. And that is exactly what happens. We have this brilliant moment where everything seems lost. There's fires breaking out. Everyone's dead. People are getting cut in half. People are sad.
Combat information on us. There's heads are falling off.
Yes, heads are falling off.
It's
and then there are these broadswords. And we previously introduced at the beginning of the novel that broadswords were too big to land on an escort carrier. So we see these Concordia broadswords, just like the ones we fly, possibly flown by Blair himself, fly by with these torpedoes glinting in them, and they chase off Thrakath, and they save the survivors of the Tarawa. In Chapter 12, we open by learning that the Kilrathi leaders we had seen in the previous one, Rusmak and Gar, the leaders of the Imperial Legions and the fleet, have died at Vukartag, and Baron Jukaga has survived. And they can't kill him, they can't execute him, but they put him. They tell him he's going into exile. He's the Emperor's second nephew or something. So he's going into exile. And he gives this warning about how much he hates the Clintons.
Yep. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because it's
obvious.
1992 and Bill Forstchen is not happy about things.
Yep.
So, the Tarawa makes it. Then Tarawa makes it back to space. Everybody gets medals of honor. Everybody gets promoted. They say, "Oh, we're going to scrap the ship." And Bear says, "Like hell you are. She's our ship, and it was the first to kill Ra." So they're gonna rebuild the Tarawa, and they say, "Oh, Kevin Tolwyn, do you want to have a staff job now because you're such a hero?" And says, "Tell them to stuff it. I'm gonna stay here and command the rapiers."
He goes to be on. He wants to stay a pilot.
Yeah,
he wants to stay true.
Yeah. So, and that is the end of our novel, essentially.
Now I guess I have to put the first
thing in there.
The first to kill Ra side up since.
Yep. The first to kill Ra flag goes up on the ship.
Well, I have it. That's why I got to put it on the head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, with that, let's talk end run. Who all is out there right now?
Can you guys hear that too?
We can hear you.
We're Allie just had something playing.
Oh,
it was just you didn't hear. Yeah, no, it was something else. So we thought you could hear it too. It was just funny.
So first thoughts on this chapter, or these chapters?
Yeah, I'd say let the crowd.
Are they not hearing us?
No, they do.
We hear you.
So
Okay.
Leha, Chris,
collect our thoughts.
Okay.
It's this part reads really fast. It's just action, and so the book just not that it's slow to get started, but you have milk run, like an actual prologue that goes on and on before end run even starts. And the last 4 chapters here, it's just like action and survival and
it all is one pure movement. I mean, it's like 30 or 45 hours theoretically, but it is just one thing after another. Yeah, several days.
It's like because you often skip time real quick, and he just goes from event to event.
And it's interesting you bring that up because I think almost too much so. There's one point where I remember way back at the beginning of the novel. There's Mongol and Chamberlain. They're like the new pilots who are especially good, and we at one point they just say, "Oh, it's too bad Mongol's dead." And there's no scene where he dies. It just dies off screen. There's all this stuff that happens off screen, and it's super interesting. It's
what you want to know more.
We talked last time about how there was this world building that was kind of through. He's really good at world building. Maybe not pacing or drama or narrative or voice, but he's really good at world building.
Yes.
And there's just all these scenes that build out the world while you're in it. And I have a quote here I pulled specifically for this. So we get to the chapter 12 and everything is resolved at this point. And Bear is looking around the ship and he's noting all these interesting aircraft carrier things, which are pretty accurate, you were saying, I think.
Yeah, for the most part. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and here's a line from the book. As he reached the doorway into the main corridor leading aft, he stopped for a moment to look at the roll of honor. 283 names were on that list. So many of them he didn't even know. So many were just barely remembered faces and names, learned in the heat of combat. He could not even recall now the names of his young and so attractive Combat Information Officer,
Bing.
the lowly cook who has dragged the wounded out of a shattered corridor, finally pushing a jammed airlock door shut with himself on the vacuum side, or the deckhand who had waded into a wall of fire to shut down a ruptured hydrogen fuel line and died saving the ship. So many names, so many letters to write home in the days to come. None of that is something we see.
Yeah.
They're literally backfilling the stuff we just experienced with additional stuff in that. So,
and I remember as a kid, that grabbed me. Like, I remember thinking, like, oh, those was going on, and, like, I was trying to figure out this must have happened then, and this must have been when the kamikaze hit, and when they were trying to open a passageway to the engine room. Like, you really wanted to try to explain it.
And even on a bigger scale, we don't see this Battle of Vukartag at all.
Nope.
We had an entire novella setting up that Vukartag existed. We spent so much time there in the beginning of the book. And it's all relayed not even by Tolwyn. It's Thrakath and the Emperor talking about it after it happens and telling us what happened.
Yeah.
So they keep us at the edge of our seat and then they fill in later. And I think that's pretty interesting.
I thought it was a little disappointing, too, because I think it was Chapter 8 that ended with Admiral Tolwyn and Banbridge talking, and it felt like they were about to go into battle, and then they just kind of didn't tell you anything.
That's one of those things where I feel that you actually get more out of it by not seeing it. Because if they had explained it all, then you'd hear it in detail, and it would kind of lose some of that punch.
Yeah, I think it's a sad but fundamental truth of space combat stories that actual space combat is not that exciting to describe over and over. It's fun to play Wing Commander when you're the player and you have 50 missions, but imagine just reading those missions.
Yeah.
And you have that same problem on shows like Space Above and Beyond, or like even World War II movies like Pearl Harbor or something. There is one very exciting sequence in the middle there, but you have to have a movie around it.
There's no movie there.
I meant Midway, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. Midway's fine, and then you have to add in the ridiculous love story that has no role in there whatsoever. Now I'm all mad. You got me all worked up about that. But I remember as a kid, I always wanted to kind of figure out what had happened at Vukartag. Like, you want to kind of break it apart to find out what you can. Because it's such a massive event where you see... And it's also like... It's like Admiral Spruance's, worst fears come true, is that you're in the middle of a landing operation, you're fully engaged, and all of a sudden an enemy fleet pops out on your flank and just starts completely ripping up your forces, because when you're in a landing op, you can't just suddenly say, okay, we need to land, take all the ground weapons off, load up ship-killing weapons. This all takes a lot of time. So the way he's described it is actually accurate to how it could happen in real life. That's one of the big things that Admiral Spruance really feared at the Battle of Philippine Sea, and then they kind of pull a very similar event at the Battle of Leyte Gulf by tricking Halsey to sail north to open up the transports to attack, and then our little ships hold the day.
Yeah, I do think that the less you see, the better it can be, because you get these hints, and you put so much in your mind afterwards that you wouldn't get if you literally had... And then Colonel Blair attacked this, and he fought this saber. Another interesting thing about this exact scenario is that there's this weird parallel between the games and the books. So in this one and the next book we're going to read, Fleet Action, we're following the book characters. But Blair, or Phoenix as he's called here, is still there. We mentioned that he's on the Concordia, and as far as we know, he's fighting at Vukartag. He's the wing commander of the most important ship in this battle. He's off doing something heroic. And we kind of see that throughout this. Like in the next book, we'll know he's at Earth somewhere. He's at this giant battle that affects everyone, but we're not following him. And then we get the Wing Commander of 3 and 4 novelizations, and it switches to Blair's perspective for those games. But we get all these little background bits about, what's Blair doing? What's Kevin doing? They kind of pop in. So you're continuing your narratives, but intertwined, and the other ones just hint at the other story.
Yeah. I will say that I think we can all agree that the pacing of this is very strange, and sometimes Fortune seems to forget how time works. Right? He says when they first get to the moon, Merritt wants 30 hours. I need 30 hours. I want to wire up everything, and then Thrakath shows up. You have 3, and they seem to wire up about, 80% of what he had said. I think the only thing missing was fighter production and the barracks. but they get 6 carriers, the cruiser construction zone. But then later, they go hide in the moon or in the gas giant Agrathi for 30 hours, which is just a really weird length of time. And then they run out. And then we have 2 days going by, and then we can talk about the weird starbase pirating that doesn't really serve a purpose.
Yeah, there's a lot of number stuff at this point in the book that I think, my guess is there was some editing. We must have dropped wherever Mongol died, but he likes to mention, this is the number of ships we have left. Yeah. And if you plot them all out, they don't quite make sense.
Yeah.
One thing that does make sense if you plot it out, which I'm going to show you right here, I drew this myself, so
I like how it's labeled.
This is yes. You tell them what that says right there.
It says map of Kilraw, Ben, trash.
Here you go. So I have plotted out the movement at the start of the novel. It's from the Niven sector. Yeah. The X number of jumps across into Karathi. The long jump to Jugara. Jump to Gamark 2. That's where they first show their hand so that the Karathi know they're there.
Yeah,
to Jurbara. There's another unnamed system, and then they're at Kilra, and that's all described in dialogue at various places, and it's consistent throughout the book. Mm-hmm. And we also hear that the Tarawa is taking this 4-jump route to the Barag system, which goes from Kilra to Vuwarg, which Zarkath mentions. Yep. Then they jump again to the system with the orbital base that's not named. Then they jump again to a system called Lushkag, and they jump again to Barag. And we know that the Zarkath can do that in 3 jumps, so he jumps to an unnamed system, and I send to Rushta. It could be another system. It could be Exar. And then to Barag, and Barag is where the final action happens. And the reason I made that was to show you that it does not at all match. Does not at all match the real map of Kilra sector from Wing Commander Prophecy.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Yes, it did.
So religion.
This is not that type of show.
And I know Mike mentioned this earlier, but there is a surprising amount of just little bits of religion in these last chapters.
Yeah, it kind of just... It's not overwhelming, but for something that's not really mentioned at all for the first 2/3 of the book, it's just sort of like just sprinkled throughout, like Blair reading from the Bible at the service for the people lost in combat, and there's a lot of mention of like the chaplain like praying with the dying and stuff. I just thought it was kind of interesting because
it's very World War II, and we see this military funeral, which again I talked to you about this, and it's pretty accurate, right?
I've been to services with full military honors, and that was how I think the only thing missing was the caskets being brought in on a caisson of some kind, and we can assume anti-grav, they do that. But then the service of reading, giving the volleys, piping, the bugler, all that, yep, that's exactly what you'd expect.
And that strikes me, so I love the little bits of religion in these Forster novels, because they're just tiny little things. A character will say, "Oh my God," or there's a Jewish prayer in Action Stations when one of the ships is destroyed.
He's ramming.
They ram, and then
the Masada,
they pray,
I think it is, right?
Hebrew,
the Masada rams.
And it's this bit of reality that's added to this universe. I don't claim anyone as the right religion, but it's nice to see bits and pieces. But what really struck me about the funeral ceremony is that it may be military accurate, but Wing Commander has a very famous funeral scene. If there's one thing you parody from the original Wing Commander, it's the funeral scene where they all get in their spacesuits and they're out on the ship, and you shoot the body out on the platform thing. And that's not what we see. We see this traditional military funeral.
I would say the one in Wing Commander 1 is somewhat traditional for what they can do with the graphics and things like that.
By the way, I've pulled out, they play taps just like in the real military, so I pulled that out as our multimedia for now. I'm going to play taps right now.
Gotta take my hat off then. I just realized why I can't hear it.
Yeah, you can't.
Anybody who's been to Boy Scout camp knows that very well. Hovering taps.
So R.I.P. Mongol and Weirson and Svetlana and Icewind,
Nova,
Thor, Odin.
Fire.
Yeah, and another one of those backfilling. We have this thing where Bear lists some of the pilots who have been killed, and we've not heard of any of them in this story.
Nope, except for Mongol, I think.
It's for Mongol, yeah. Mongol, Icewind, Flame, Thor, and Odin are two of them.
Nova, I think it's it.
Nova is from earlier in the book.
I think she's in that list. Yeah. Yeah, Nova, Flame, Icewind, Nova, Eagle, Talon, Thor, and Odin. They're that pilot list at the end.
I also looked up what the 23rd Psalm was, just because they're like, oh, we read the 23rd Psalm. And
yeah, it's usually what they
certainly
read.
At the time, I was not religious, and I had no idea. I had not read the Bible when I read this. I figured I'd read it out just because it's the thing that was in the book, and it's and you'll know it as soon as because it's the famous one. But Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So if you're reading that funeral scene, that is what the chaplain is reading, or Bear is reading.
Mm-hmm.
I think, well, in the Mad Scramble, that is this part of the book. Fortune seems to use religion to go along with this mad scramble. He seems to use it as kind of a, not a flavor text, but just to kind of emphasize how desperate the situation actually is.
That's a good point.
It's I don't want to say it's an obvious parlor's trick, because I'm sure we've seen it all before. But the thing I'd really like to compliment him on is the sense of desperation that comes with this part of the book. You know, everything up to this point is just kind of like a build up, we see it coming sort of thing. But then from chapters 9 on, it reminded me a bit of a very different book, David Morrell's First Blood, which is just an entire book of just one long chase through the Kentucky hills. And it's a desperate fight against terrible odds. And it has some of that kind of unrelenting, you know, it's kind of like a train where it's going on one straight route and there's no way to get off it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing that I thought was very strange is also, as the book goes on, they would probably hate to know this, but the Kilrathi become more and more, for lack of a better word, humanized as the story goes on. There's a part in it that I noticed where I think it's the Crown Prince says something like, he's damned good, which seems like such a human utterance and felt a little bit character breaking for me.
In fact, I noticed this one parallel where you have when Bear and Svetlana first fight back in like chapter 2, he has this line, "God damn this war." Then in this part, Thrakath has "God damn this war." And of course, the very end of the novel is Bear again. He remembers, he smells Svetlana's perfume in his quarters. "God damn this war" is the end of the book. So you have both the humans and the Kilrathi coming to this realization at the end of the story, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin Tolwyn and his redemption, is it earned? And what do you think of Kevin Tolwyn at this point, especially given the very, very brief blink and you miss it revelation that yes, he did disobey orders and get Jim Conklin killed?
Yeah.
Yep.
Part of me thinks that it's a more human thing, is because, you know, that's how you can kind of be. You know, especially if you figure somebody who's come from this kind of pampered lifestyle, everything's been kind of handed to him, right? I mean, he even talks about how, you know, if I had met Jim earlier, I wouldn't have brought him to the club, you know, meaning the country club or whatever.
It's an obnoxious thing to
think.
It's even though he's supposed to be in this, I should be a hardscrabble military man. But he's still thinking about how he wouldn't have invited the guy he killed to the club.
Yeah, and especially when then he mentions in passing that his father was a pilot, and that's why he wanted to be a pilot. and it's
again backloading again.
Yeah, he's a rich kid jerk. Like, we've all known these people who are, now that I've had a moment of reflection, I understand, and now I'm a better am I a better person? And you want to like him, and you can see that his process is ongoing, though, right? Him turning down the staff position, which you can see he would never, like, he's not the character that's going to take that. Instead, he wants to be like his uncle, and he might not have the same morals and all the same values, but he's slowly earning them.
Yeah, my takeaway is that it is earned. He is a good person, and I think we will continue to see that in future books. But it does seem kind of sudden, and it's an odd admission at the end that there's no question he had heard the order to return to base. Mm-hmm. But let's admit it, we've all played Wing Commander missions where they said don't go after this or don't do that, and we have done it anyway. So who am I to judge?
Did you get Jim Conklin kid?
What was that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it just makes Kevin more like his uncle. You know, they both disobeyed direct orders, basically, to do the greater good.
And this brings up something that you, Leha, had been mentioning earlier, that there is some very heavy Forstianism here. You know, he gets to do some of his favorite things, which is say fuck you to... Are we allowed to swear? We can say bleep you to...
I think you're allowed one.
One, okay.
We're PG-13 now.
So he basically says, oh, you stupid Academy graduates, you guys got killed, and now the best man for the job is this expert veteran. Yeah. And that, by the way, one of the expert veterans he does that was named Jim Bain, who is the publisher.
Oh, no, that's right. He doesn't make him a veteran. He just says he's the guy who figures out the science of the old hand who figures out the science, but he does use Jim a lot.
Yeah.
Jim Conklin, the chief tech is the guy you're thinking of, where it's some fresh lieutenant from the academy. He's killed early on in the raid, so the best guy for the job rises.
Yes.
And it's like
CPO or something.
It's like the chief engineering officer or something.
Yeah.
I forget. He's like a master chief or something.
Yeah. So we see a lot of that here, and I don't mind it. I remember thinking that's great, but it's very easy, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, you notice it now as an adult. Like, we've been talking about this, that, you know, as a kid, I can see why this was my favorite book, because everything happens correct, right? All the right things transpire. There's just enough negative actions to keep you thinking, okay, sure, but then everything always works out in the end. Mm-hmm. Like, if I was Admiral Bainbridge, too, like, you need to have a serious conversation with Admiral Tolwyn, perhaps, and then how he traps him with, I forged orders to steal my carrier to then jump deep behind enemy lines to maybe go save a small ship, and yes, in the end it all works out and it's the moral and right thing to do, but it's also clear that Bainbridge understands that in war you do often have to send people off to die knowing full well they are going to die and there is no other option.
Here's one of those great quotes that I love from this chapter, by the way, is Thraketh and the Emperor. Let's finish this affair. The court historians can practice their usual craft of lying and embellish it to a great victory rather than a miserable hunt. Yeah, that's a favorite of mine that always comes to mind.
Well, yeah, when they talk about how they...
I have to do that all the time.
How they have to spin things. They talk about, was it Jukaga says, I'll offer you my scribe who can spin great lies.
Yeah, you know, I'll get to that moment in just a minute, because we talked about religion. We're going to talk about politics in a minute.
Yeah, let's actually...
But we talk about something fun first.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's move back towards Wing Commander stuff on this.
Ship. So we mentioned the Grotha. The other ship that appears in this is the Graki. Grakhi, which is not a ship that's ever been identified before, and it's one of those ones where, did he make a typo or did he invent a new ship?
I'm going to go with both.
It's probably both, because canonically it's a new ship. I like to think that it's this thing on the cover that looks sort of like a Dralthi, but isn't.
Yeah.
I assume that's a Graki.
Yeah, I think it sounds to me like he did the Drakri from Wing Commander 2 thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe, if he was smart enough to do that.
I mean, G&D are close on the keyboard.
There's also a typo in the ebook edition just after the Graki appear where it's Kulrathi instead of Kilrathi. Yeah. And for our edification, I did go back and check, and it is spelled correctly in the printed version.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of typos. I think fire gets spelled Lire, and He uses the word insure instead of insure a couple times.
If you pull any of those out, send them to me, and I can get them to Bane. They're happy to change stuff like that.
Cool.
I'm trying to think. Well, one of my things I'll like to talk about is when they get to the moon and they're like I mentioned before, right? The 30 hour. So we go from 30 hours to 3 hours, and while Grierson is down there, we don't get a whole lot of. It doesn't seem like they're facing a lot of resistance, despite the fact they've landed on the moon of Kilra. We get some at the end. And how did everyone think about that long, drawn-out death scene of Svetlana? Like I just drew that.
It's very Hollywood. It's,
Yeah.
Oh, I have to put in the code.
Yeah. And I like how there's not a lot of discussion about, other people's thoughts on these things, like the other people on the landing craft.
Also, but you can tell Forstchen loves rewarding his characters. He feels happy rewarding his characters with a promotion and medal because he gives her a promotion in combat right before she dies.
Yeah, she gets a brevet. Yeah, she gets a brevet promotion.
Now.
Yeah, she gets a brevet promotion, and because Grierson's handing him out, he says, or not Grierson, Merritt's handing him out, he says.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's interesting that we are never going to see Merritt again. He
gets promoted,
and he's as full fleshed out as a character in End Run gets, and we don't see him again. And our background characters really disappear too. Chamberlain gets a nod, but we don't see him saving the day or anything.
No,
Mongol, of course, vanishes. Starlight gets one moment of she saves the day by ramming a torpedo, and then isn't mentioned again. That's it for Bear's old friend.
She doesn't even get mentioned in the final call out of pilots who die.
No, and I will say, as I meant to say this a bit earlier, but the numbers don't quite match up for the ships, because there's repeated calls like, I have 5 sabers and 7 ferrets and
I lose 2.
Of those. And if you follow it through, they don't quite go together, because he has 8 ferrets at one point, and Starlight dies, and then another one crashes, and it splits apart, and then he has 7, and so the numbers don't quite work out exactly.
Maybe you're forgetting that they're stripping, the damaged ones to make one fly.
Yeah, that's possible.
So maybe it's wanting up. That's how you get a 1 or 2 out of that. Because
I think what I got to do is make a really serious spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah, this sounds very serious. Because at one point, right, they're stripping 3 rapiers apart to get 1 working one. Yeah. So
right.
Yeah.
So I hate to do it, but we should talk about politics.
Do you want to do that first? I'm trying to think of other things we can talk about in and of itself.
No. I want to quote. Because there's this ridiculous conversation between the Kilrathi about how much Baron Jukaga does not like the Clintons. Because it's 1993, and Forstchen is so pro-military, and he hates the idea of reducing spending, and it
shows up over.
It's gonna go nuts in the next book, which we'll talk about soon. But there's this scene with Jukaga talking to Trakath as he's being exiled. Your grandfather, my step-uncle, has led us to this disastrous war. It's still a good world building, by the way. You're too young to even remember before this war started. I warned that we should first seek an accommodation with these humans. This, by the way, will be turned into an entire novel in a couple of years.
Except they'll change.
Except with some changes to the characters. Send our ambassadors in, establish our spies, lull their people with promises of our heartfelt desire for peace and disarmament. Then the strike. One can always find fools who will listen to such drivel and do half your work for you, establishing friendship committees and lulling them with soft words. Easier to kill a fleet through lack of money because it must be spent on peaceful activities than to have it destroyed in battle. You and your grandfather have never learned the inner truth that peace and war can be one and the same. The pursuing of a policy that in the end, no matter what the means, can lead to ultimate victory. All you ever see is the path of the sword. Which I remember reading at the time and thinking, yeah, right on.
Yeah, I agree.
This guy's politics are totally right. We need to respect our service people and support them, and this guy's got it figured out. And I still think that. I just don't think all the things that are associated with that.
Yeah.
So I just always thought it was interesting the amount to which I was personally radicalized by Wing Commander novels, because.
Yeah, it's more than I guess you think.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, to me, I always just get hooked, or not hooked. I get hung up on the odd choices he sometimes makes. Like, let's talk about the fact that they're in a chase. We have two cruisers behind them chasing them, and then we decide to take a stop at the store, and we're gonna go raid this Kilrathi starbase, where there were what at that point where after they destroy the base and raid it, 6 hours is the difference between the cruisers and them, and it's like, why even stop to begin with?
Honestly, to me, I think they stopped because after the jump through Kilra, they're down to 2.3% fuel.
Yeah, they really need time and stuff, but
to me, it seems like it's a super spacey thing. I think of like Columbia when we look at the Columbia accident.
Mm-hmm.
The actual wing hit that would destroy the ship happened during the takeoff. So no matter that timeline was set, it was going to happen no matter when they re-entered.
Yeah.
So in these like space formulations, you can say, well, if they're 6 hours behind us, we can stop for 4 hours, and their distance is defined by physics. They're not going to speed up. So you have that room to play with.
But they stop there to get armor and Durasteel, and they cut off mass driver miniguns.
Yeah, they get weapons, and
which then becomes this weird thing of what, like, I always thought of it as this is, like the 50 caliber machine guns you see on American vehicles, like on a Humvee, on M4 Sherman tanks. It's like it's one of those things, because then it sounds like later they're bolted on outside the airlock, and then there are crews who are literally standing there like, a 20mm gun on a ship firing off, which is that worth the time and effort to do?
That's totally badass. Of course that's worth it.
Does it really have any purpose? You know what I mean? It's just like, this book doesn't need filler. So why is this there? And it's not even a great plot device, because later on
they do it twice. Yeah, they take 2 orbital bases in this process.
Yeah, there's smashing of 2 orbital bases, which the second one especially, because then when you get to the scene where the payoff of the bow being ripped off, which is I always think of the Tarwa as being the ship on the cover. So it's like, what does he mean by the armored bow? Is it one of the kind of the prongs going out? Mm-hmm. And then he talks about, they tumble through space, but then he's focusing more on the quad neutron turret and the 35 people that are in there, which is really a high number for people in there. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that was always something that was so weird, because he spends time on that, but then, in the final battle in Barag, we have Kevin's, coming to Jesus moment, basically, while the entire Alpha Strike is wiped out too. I mean, that's Tarwa's also last bolt, for as far as the numbers seem to tell. And it's just it's a weird thing where that. And then what's also weird is during that point, Merritt is very aggressive. Let's turn around and let's smash these 2 cruisers. I want to do this. And Grierson and Bear are both saying, no, if we're going to do this, it's going to be a carrier in our sights. And then what happens to Grierson exactly? He does exactly as Merritt describes. I want the torpedoes are going to be exchanged with a cruiser, and it's literally exactly what happens a chapter later.
I think he's going for the carrier, but the cruiser's in the way.
Yeah, the cruiser's in the way and all that, but it's just funny to see how he's lining that up like that. Odd foreshadowing.
So, general thoughts from the folks out there. Worth the time to read? Have you enjoyed this? Will you read more Wing Commander novels?
Yes.
I would read some more Wing Commander novels, I think.
I've read them all more than once.
Obviously, I mean, it's great. I mean, it's Wing Commander. I really like seeing different perspectives. Like the first half of the book, you see things. Bondarevsky, he's the pilot, and you're seeing things from the perspective of the pilot, just like in the games. But then when he gets that field promotion, you suddenly see it from the eyes of a commander who's making the decisions, but he's not actually in the fine bits of combat making the real changes in the combat. So I thought that was really cool to see a different perspective on that.
And I actually like that a lot. Forstchen does a lot of good world building in that moment when he's talking about the bridge being destroyed, although the hollow screen thing's kind of funny. That's such a 90s thing of having not enough screens and things like that, where today we have 20 flat screens, not a big deal. Yeah. But talking about the auxiliary bridge, how he wants to rip somebody's head off for that, and all that, all that stuff is great, even as this book is kind of glorified fan fiction for, all purposes, and everything goes well. In the end, everything's great. I'm not gonna it's like we started this a few weeks ago. It's good trash, it's that trashy pulp novel you want to burn through, and it's great because you can get lost in it and you put it down, no problem.
And it is so important to love trash. If I could have one message tonight to the people of the world, it is embrace and love trash. Because
whoa, our sponsor is Wood.
Wood, yeah.
Not trash. Wood.
Enjoy things you have fun with. Take a Wing Commander novel and dissect that. It's so much more fun than, I have a fancy English degree. I've written, hundreds of pages analyzing D.H. Lawrence, and that is so dull compared to End Run. I am never gonna, I am never gonna pretend to be that old again. I'm gonna read Wing Commander novels the rest of my life because they're so much fun, and you can do whatever you want with them. And
it's all about the fun. As I've been reading it, I've been highlighting notes on my Kindle, just little things that I want to remember. Yeah. And every now and then there'll be this part where I highlight just an entire paragraph because it's just this huge burst of just fun.
Yeah.
The one I'm looking at right now, it's just about one of the attacks on the Tarawa, where it's saying a bolt slammed against the forward airlock, and for a fraction of a second the lock failed. A mass driver round slashed down the length of the deck, impacting on the far wall of the hangar, sending out an explosive shower of shrapnel. Yeah. And he's just really good at getting you excited about these little bits here and there.
That's so good. You pointed out the one about the arm earlier, the casual mention of the arm.
Oh yeah, big
regen.
Dude.
Yeah, I love his world building, and that is something people should study because he does a really good job with it.
Yeah, I should say, for all the crap we give Bill Forstchen, and he deserves a fair amount of crap. But I
think anything you take apart, you do it, but in fun. This is awful because I see how this is.
Yeah, I know.
This is amazing.
This
because
is awesome.
I know it enough to do this.
Yeah, it's we do pile on him, but at the same time, it's because it's so damn enjoyable to do so. I love this. The reason I always love this book more over Fleet Action, which has the bigger battles and all that, is that this just has a great chase and setup. And I think I was always interested. I want to know more of what happens at Vukar, and you never really get that. But you just know it's this very important battle in the war that it helps turn the tide for what will transpire later and will cause the events of Fleet Action, and then will lead us into Wing Commander 3. And it's one of those things where you can fall into it very easily, and it's great. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot. You don't need to put a lot into this to get a lot out of it. Like Mike said with that part.
But you can put a lot into it too, and that's great.
Because when he mentioned that part, I can think of myself as a 16-year-old reading that, and I'm imagining the picture. When we first did this, you had all the pictures of the Concordia up there, and I pictured that the Concordia flight deck, where when the ship lands and the mass driver rounds hitting right behind that, and parts flying everywhere. Because then you have the platform where Angel debriefs you, and I'm thinking that's where the bridge would be, and you can really you immediately paint all those pictures with having to try very little, and it becomes a great experience. So I can't listen to myself talk while I'm talking; it throws me off.
You can mute yourself so you on your own, so you don't hear yourself.
I should also.
We said at the end of the book.
Son of a bitch! You're so damn it.
So, any other thoughts before we put End Run to bed?
Nah, good book.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a promotion.
Everybody gets a promotion. And
so I
think we'd have to add one thing too.
How old is Bear? Is he a captain?
27.
27, and he's now a Navy captain.
Yes, he's now a fleet captain, yeah. Wow. Yeah, which is a very different kind of rank from being a flying officer captain and being a ship of the line captain.
But he did a good job of it for a day, so it's his
No,
job now.
yeah, it was like a week, yeah. But then he also gets if we notice, he gets stuck there for a while.
So that is not the end of Bear.
No,
he will continue to
long time.
Ruin our attempts to win Gorkar duty. But we are headed for the next Wing Commander novel, which is called Fleet Action. Probably the widest read Wing Commander book, if only by virtue of the fact that it was included in the Wing Commander 3 Premier Edition. And it is a heck of a story. It takes it's end run writ large. We see the politics of the Confederation and the Kilrathi, and we have a major story that is hugely impactful to the universe. And for book club, we're going to roll right into it. Next book club will be in the next 2 weeks, and we're going to read the prologue and chapter 1.
Yeah, 2 chapters this time.
2 chapters instead of 4. We feel like these have been getting kind of too much at once, so we're going to try slower, and we'll get the right speed eventually. But
we only have so many books.
Absolutely start reading Fleet Action, and we'll see all of our characters again. We'll find out what happens when Jukaga gets back from exile.
Yep.
And we'll find out how Bear is doing as a fleet captain, how Kevin is doing as a squadron commander. See what all those promotions actually mean.
What Sparks is up to now, in charge of all the ground crews.
Yeah.
As
Sparks gets almost no mention after the midpoint of this book.
Yeah, well, she gets that one casual mention at the end, right when he lands back, and he has the 2 sweaty techs pipe him on board, right?
So, thank you guys for making this such a success and having it be so tremendously much fun for me. It's been so incredibly fun to talk about Wing Commander novels like this. Thank you all for making that possible. I hope you'll continue to do this with us.
It's great fun. It really is. Although I think a lot of times we come up with great ideas right afterwards. We're like, hey, you know what we didn't think of like 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Because that's going to happen.
But I'm going to make that spreadsheet. I'll show it off next week.
Oh, boy. I look forward to reading it. Should we have any final thoughts from the callers? I don't know what we call them.
It's a great book.
Bird signalers.
Great battles. Looking forward to End Run. End Run's got lots of. It's part of a. It's an interesting bridge from Wing Commander to get from Wing Commander 2 to Wing Commander 3. If you're just playing the games, it's a crazy shift. You kind of need End Run and really Fleet Action to get from Wing Commander 2 to Wing Commander 3.
Yeah, I'm excited to read Fleet Action again. It's been a while.
Awesome. And if you are tuning in from not just our incredibly talented Peanut Gallery, if you are following in chat, if you're enjoying the show in general, absolutely join us on Voice next time. We would love to hear other views. I mean, I remember Scout came one time and then he said, I didn't say much because you guys have this older person's perspective on it, and I sound like you guys 20 years ago. And like, I would love to hear that.
Yeah, it's good to hear our old selves.
Yeah,
that's why we're here.
A younger person isn't a worse person. They have a different take on it, and that's so much more interesting than hearing myself repeated back to myself. But join us. We are
Austin,
welcoming and friendly, and we'd love to have you, whoever you are.
Yeah, we're always curious to have other because sometimes you don't notice things.
Yeah. I would love to talk to somebody who hates these books.
There's no such person. But there's no such person.
So let's get to our ending screen. Thank you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
All
right. Well, that's it for another exciting episode of All Wings Considered. I am sorry we did not have that Macintosh in time for a Super Wing, but we will get one up and running, and we will do an all-day weekend stream playing Super Wing Commander, and you will get to see how ridiculous everything about Super Wing Commander is.
It'll be a challenge. It'll be a fun challenge. It'll be great to feel the old stick in the hand. It's been a while since I've used that stick. I didn't. Yep, your face.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. I thrust. There's no winning.
Nope.
Joysticks.
All right, we're gonna go watch the new Discovery because it's called the Red Angel, and we're curious.
To see about this. Yes, I'm assuming it's all about Saru getting court-martialed and finally getting the discipline he needs after the event on his own planet because military.
So thank you guys again. We'll see you soon. Here's Clyde.
Yeah.
I'm told we had no audio in Clyde, so we're going to try this again.
We will try again.
Here's Clyde.
Doctor, you are in.
Sector is really heating up. Deneb isn't just a...
Take 3.
One more time.
Hi, I'm Dr. Clyde Burrows from the Omnicron Institute. It looks like the battle for the Deneb sector is really heating up. Deneb isn't just a major Confederation base, it's something you can see with your naked eye tonight. Deneb is one of the brightest stars in our night sky, easily identifiable as part of the constellation Cygnus, the Swan. Deneb is a blue-white supergiant that's thousands of times larger and brighter than our own sun. Astronomers believe that Deneb is about 800 parsecs from Earth and that it will become a supernova in the next several million years. See you on the next exciting episode of All Wings Considered.